Nerd things live on the internet.
Live.
Check. Wait.
Actually.
Oh
No.
no. Wait, how
Adam
do I?
just crashed
There we
his
go.
computer.
No.
Wait, is that a Chromebook?
No. Why would that be a Chromebook?
Looked like you were using Chrome.
No, I
did he not
I was
mute?
trying to make sure I was muted.
You're muted.
Mute.
Are we?
Hey,
live?
Happy New
Are we
Year.
live? Oh yeah,
We're
we're live.
live.
Hey,
I
hey.
enjoyed the
Happy New Year.
I enjoyed
Happy New
the
Year.
Vegas. We're completely spent, used up Vegas wind-up show.
Husks of a people.
Yeah,
so
empty shells of men.
yeah, Brad's not going to be able to join us because he's still trying to finish his yard drink. What was it called?
He was so
yard-long?
tired. He was so tired that when I asked him how many ounces that was,
Yeah.
like he didn't even just give me it in distance, which I thought was hilarious that we transcended normal modes
Yardzilla,
of measurement.
that's what it's called.
But he said 3 yards.
It's not 3 yards.
Yeah, 3 yards.
Three-
is a
three
lot.
feet.
And at
feet.
first I was like, what?
3 feet is a yard,
That's not
right?
a drink. That's
Yeah.
a trip to the hospital.
I mean, I even think 3 feet is already a trip to the hospital.
It's pretty narrow in the middle.
Well, so he looked it up. I think you looked it up, right, Will?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, so I think it's essentially 2 big gulps, but with like
that's
12
too
shots.
So
Booze.
yeah. So
Well,
yeah.
shot,
So I-
that's insane.
Brad's a big guy, though.
But at our ages, come on.
Listen,
be real
Brad can
here.
drink.
Elena, you were curious during the live stream at CES. You slagged me and was like, "Hey, how tall is this?" So it was actually, so it's 3 feet tall.
A yard.
A yard, yeah. So and then 64 ounces, I believe that is the size.
That's
and then
insane.
yeah, and then I forgot how many shots they include in it, but yeah.
12 is a lot. 12 is a lot of shots.
Yeah. Yeah, he tried his best. He tried his best, but he's still sleeping it off, so
You ever
he's not
drunk the
joining us
boot?
today.
When you're in Germany, have you ever drunk the glass boot?
I mean, I've tried, but
Yeah.
the
Did you know about the twist?
the problem I have is that it just gets warm after a while. And it's
Yeah,
like
right.
nothing
I'm
better
drinking
than warm
too
beer.
much.
Yeah, and I
England,
mean, I've
it
never
starts
been like a
warm.
heavy drinker anyway. So
the room had an ice bucket. Could have just
Yeah.
filled it in there.
Well, his Yardzilla was frozen
When you
at
got
the
it?
get-go. Yeah. So and then by the end, it still had just a little bit of frozen chunk in it.
Oh, that's
left,
just what
so.
you want.
Yeah. So it was. He said it was actually really hurting his hands at the very beginning.
was cold?
Yeah, because he was trying to hold it and it was cold.
You need a glove.
So yeah, he should have had the Yardzilla glove. I'm sure that was an exit charge.
Yeah, they're
He's
like,
like,
hey,
"Eh, I
for
don't
$3
need
you
that."
get a glove.
Elena, would you try Yardzilla?
I mean, try in the sense of like try it
Buy
for
one?
flavor, sure, but there's no way I would
Also,
ever
it's a
drink
real
that
good
much.
deal. $55 for Yard.
Oh,
I mean, yeah.
gulps?
If you divide it by like 6 people, sure, then yeah, it works out great. But like for me as a single person, one individual, no.
One of the funniest bad nights I ever had in San Francisco was when we went to we had a Maximum PC outing. I went to this place that did scorpion bowls.
Oh.
And a scorpion bowl is like a bucket of booze in the middle, and you give everybody long straws for it.
Yeah, you all share.
Yeah, y'all. This is before
disease.
COVID, so we
Yeah.
we weren't worried about that
It's
stuff
fine.
back then. Yeah, everybody just came to
There's
work
something
sick.
called herpes still. I thought you
You
should
don't
know.
use the same straw, Elena. You're not blowing. If somebody's blowing bubbles in the scorpion bowl, that's a big faux pas.
Faux pas, but doesn't mean someone
Okay.
wouldn't.
But yeah. So anyway, that was a bad time. One of somebody who'll remain nameless to protect the innocent drank an entire scorpion bowl and had to be escorted home.
Is it someone we know?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. we'll talk about it afterward. But you know what we're going to talk about here live on the internet is more CES stuff.
Oh man, I was just hoping there'd be more CES stuff.
I mean, listen, we did not touch
Count
on.
AI. You ready?
Yeah, we did not touch
No.
on the amount. Yeah, where's your floor
Wait,
plan?
my left leg was so tired at the end of that AI. Sorry, AMD keynote. I said AI, but yeah,
Yeah,
that was great.
So I genuinely do. Well, we'll talk about this in the intro. We're just
This is show.
mousing around.
Yeah.
We're just making sure the hamsters. This is the first time the hamsters haven't been having to work for the new year.
That's true. They took a long break.
It took a long
They got
break.
a really nice
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how they doing?
I mean, Vegas hamster different from Bay Area hamster.
Yeah, Vegas
you know?
hamsters are
That's true.
cracked out. Yeah, hitting that Yardzilla.
I was really gratified that you confirmed that the Vegas hamsters were a bit squirrely, shall
Yeah,
we say.
yeah.
Oh, the Vegas squirrels.
The
Is
Vegas
that what they are?
squirrels. Yeah.
It looked good to me for what it's worth.
It was a
A little up
little.
and down.
We had a little bit of audio drift during playback. I didn't when I monitor it, it was fine, but when we played back, it was a little audio drift and then a little
Yeah.
latency issue.
Throughput's fine.
Yeah.
but it's the ping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vegas
see.
hamsters, they're always drinking those Yardzilla, so it's expected.
They were just as loopy by the end of the
Yeah.
show as you all were.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anywho.
how we looking? Looking good?
Looking good.
Dive into it?
I missed the Bay Area hamster, so yeah, let's do it.
All right. What are we talking? Oh, yeah. Here we go. All right.
It's the internet.
Internet. Hey, Internet. Hello, Internet. Are you ready, Will?
Let's do it.
In this episode of The Full Nerd, we mop up CES with the home crew.
Hello.
I'm mopping. That's how you
He's
mop.
churning.
Turn.
I'm churning. Anyway, and welcome everyone to episode 381 of the Full Nerd Podcast, PCWorld's premier podcast about the most mediocre PC building takes here on the internet. Wow. I'm your fill-in host, Adam Patrick Murray, but I'm not alone. There's one Brad Charkis is not here with us today because he's still recovering from CES. So we have one Mike Kreider on the line. Hello, Mike.
Howdy, howdy. Nice to be here again.
Yeah. Are you recovering? Have you recovered from CES?
I have recovered from CES and been destroyed by other things, so it should be funny today. Yes.
Yeah, great. And then sitting right here on my right side is one Elena Yee, who did not go to CES, but you participated from afar.
That's true, I did.
Yeah. Speaking of from afar, I feel like Will was so far from me, that it's the first time I'm seeing you in a while. So welcome. Glad to see you.
It's the first time I've seen you since the New Year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy
Was
New
it?
Year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a room.
Happy New Year.
My fence blew down. That was what I got for New Year. It
Oh,
was
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Oh, you fence blew down?
Yeah,
I wanna talk about
the guy showed up this morning. Was it okay? Yeah.
It's
No?
look.
Okay, long
It
story.
costs $100 a foot to put a fence, an
Fences are
8-foot fence in
really
San
What about a
Francisco.
yard? How much
That would
a
be
yard?
$300 a
Okay,
yard.
there we go.
It's
Yeah.
3 feet in the yard. It's pretty
So
easy.
$300 versus the 55 that Brad paid for
If I
his
could get
Yardzilla.
$55 a yard, I'd be all over that.
Yeah, you got to go to Vegas
Yeah.
for those numbers.
Yeah, no.
Also back fresh from Vegas is one Will Sly controlling the horizontals and the verticals.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Happy New Year, by the way.
Yeah, Happy New Year. This is the first time we're streaming back from in the office. I'm sorry, I'm still tired.
the
I've
home
not
studio.
Yeah, the home studio. I'm not fully caught in on sleep, but we're gonna talk more CES stuff today. We're going to mop up the stuff that we saw that we forgot to talk about maybe because we've been so tired.
Yeah.
Also, I genuinely want to hear people's takes from the distance.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to be in
In the
mix.
middle of the stew,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then it's another to be observing it from the outside. So
It's nice on the outside, I think.
yeah,
I don't like being in the stew.
in the stew. Yeah,
No, I like to be
there's a lot of
outside in
stew.
the cold. It turns out it's
Yeah.
much better for me.
A lot of stew. So I say we just dive into it.
Yeah.
So the home team, which consisted Will, you were at home, Elena, you were at home. Obviously, we have more people in the home team who are contributing to the
We do.
website.
Yes.
There was things like the live blog. So I guess just from a high level, real quick, Elena, how did you feel like, from your perspective, this CES was compared to previous CES?
Funny you should ask because I actually covered this in the newsletter. So my take on it was that, obviously we had nothing of real substance for like major CPU, GPU news. But it was still actually a very interesting show to me because there was a decent number of things that came out that weren't like brand new, revolutionary, never seen before, but it was new takes on existing technology, which I do find still exciting. And in some ways, I'm not happy about the hiatus from, new big hardware news, but at the same time, it does leave room for us to actually be able to mentally look at and process and appreciate all the other cool stuff that does come up during the show. Because I actually do feel there have been some years where there's no major hardware news and the show itself is just kind of like, wah, wah. Like it's just kind of flat. And I didn't feel like it was entirely flat. I thought there was a lot of interesting stuff still.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll get into details in a minute, but I want to ask Will, what was your 1,000-foot view?
So last year the keynotes were really interesting because there was a lot of new hardware coming. This year, not as much or at all.
Which thank you,
Actually,
both of you, for
AI.
manning those keynotes.
AI.
AI.
AIO.
AI.
AI.
How many?
And AI.
Hey, you want to ask ChatGPT how to raise your kid? That's a bad idea. Don't do it.
AI.
Anyway,
You should be asking Grok, is that what you said?
yeah, please. That's a great, never mind. We're moving on. I thought the G-Sync Pulsar stuff that NVIDIA announced in their consumer GeForce On thing was interesting. I'm very excited to see those monitors. The black frame insertion stuff that they're doing there, assuming it looks right and doesn't flicker, is really exciting, both for current games reducing blur in modern games, but also like from listening to the DF Retro, the DF guys talk about this, it is super, I'm super excited about it for mimicking old CRTs on modern panels for like 16-bit and 8-bit games that require phosphor blending and stuff like that. So like super cool. Can't wait to get hands on with that. I don't know if you guys got to look at those monitors in person when you were there.
Brad did. Yeah,
Okay.
Brad did.
We'll talk about it. I'll ask him about it next week then.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I thought was really like, there were a couple other things I thought were kind of cool. They're not exactly PC, but they're PC adjacent. The Donut Labs solid state battery stuff that they debuted. A friend of the show, Robbie Baldwin, wrote about that over on the SAE, the Society of Automotive Engineers blog. And basically they're saying they're going to ship in, I'm guessing, small quantities, based on the price of the motorcycle that they're attaching it to at first. It's like a $50,000 motorcycle, which is, if you don't know how much motorcycles cost, $50,000 is an insane amount of money for a motorcycle. Oh. But it's an electric motorcycle that uses the first commercial solid state battery. For folks who don't know, solid state batteries replace the liquid electrolyte in like a modern lithium polymer battery with a solid substrate, a solid electrolyte. And the benefit is you can pack more energy in, and they don't explode when the electrodes and cathodes break down like lithium polymer ones do. And they charge much, much faster is the big one. So is
this one of the first implementations we're seeing on a consumer device?
Yeah.
And is that because an e-bike would be larger, so they haven't figured out a way to shrink it down too small yet?
So the benefits of doing it on a motorcycle, I think part of it is that they're looking, like if you think about how big lithium battery packs worked for cars in the early days, Tesla sold that first Roadster as a kind of prestige car that they wanted to sell a relatively limited number of to help ramp the battery supply so that they could then get cheaper batteries to make the Model S and so on and so forth. And I think we're seeing the same thing here. I think this is the kind of motorcycle that Jay Leno will buy and put in his garage and make a YouTube video about.
Wait, what won't he buy though?
I mean, it's good. It's a novelty car.
Okay.
It's like the Plymouth Prowler. It's a concept car that they're actually going to sell, but if they're going to sell enough of them that the Donut Labs people will be able to have a gentle ramp on their battery production, which I think is really exciting. And supposedly there's this dendrite problem thing. See, solid state batteries are not a new concept. We've been talking about them for more than 100 years at this point. But previously, the over usage and charge cycles, they've formed shorts that go between the anode and the cathode through the solid material, and that makes the cells stop working. Supposedly, these Donut Labs people have cracked that. So potentially, like, I think we're going to see it in automotive stuff first, because reducing weight increases your range in cars in a really meaningful way, since batteries are a large amount of weight in a modern car. But I think we'll eventually see that in laptops and home power cells and stuff like that.
Do you mean specifically in the U.S.? Because I do feel like it being in motorcycles and even e-bikes would have a much stronger impact worldwide.
I think generally speaking, we're going to see this stuff come to vehicles before we see it in laptops and stuff like that, just because the benefits are much greater in terms of weight reduction versus
like in terms of immediate impact.
Yeah, like mass per kilowatt hour
for sure
is better. Like there's a real impact on vehicles, and also the fast charge component. So like I don't care if my laptop takes an hour to charge, because I'm going to sit at a desk and just plug it in once or twice a week. With the car, if I'm on a 500-mile road trip and I can plug it in for 5 minutes, go in and pee, grab a snack, and come out and go.
Gas.
Yeah, like right now my car charges in 20 minutes, which is pretty good, but that's to 80%. And if I could charge to 100% in 10 minutes, that would be a lot better.
Yep.
So,
well, real quick, coming back high level though, how do you feel like the CES was compared to?
I completely agree with Elena. I think all the peripheral stuff was way more interesting than anything that the big folks had. Like the TV stuff was kind of moribund. I think like TVs, they're talking about putting 4,500 nit panels on TVs, and I don't need that kind of like. Are you using the TV outside in the summertime? Like, why do you need a 4,500
You're using your
TV
to replace your tanning bed.
Yeah, like do you put it in your mirror in your bedroom, in your bathroom?
I wonder though if that does help. I don't really track TV technology, so much. So I'm actually wondering if that would help in situations where you just have glare because of how your living room is set up. Because, I mean, I'm speaking as somebody who lives in a city where a lot of the buildings were built before TVs even were a big deal or as large as they are now. So you don't have like optimal spots to put a TV, especially like a large flat panel that is going to reflect from like, you know, your living room windows. Like
just so people understand, like a lot of the old Edwardians and Victorians in San Francisco, in the CRT days, people would take the fireplace out and just put the TV in the fireplace hole. And there's not.
You got to get that depth.
Yeah, you then it's like a flat screen. But you didn't. There aren't big open walls to hang TVs on, and I think it definitely helps with glare. I assume that the people who need 4,500 nits of backlight on their TV are living on the surface of the sun someplace. Like, get a curtain, man.
Yeah. Who knows?
So yeah, the TV stuff was kind of meh. The PC entire category seemed like thin. There were some interesting high notes, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Monitors were interesting though.
The monitors have been high points for the last few years. Honestly, the OLED's getting good and inexpensive, and the like honestly, in terms of things that'll impact the most people, that MediaTek G-Sync deal is probably going to quadruple the number of G-Sync monitors over the next few years because they sell a bazillion controllers.
Well, I don't. When you're in the stew of it, it's really hard to step back and chase too much. So maybe I did miss this somewhere, but I heard from, I feel like multiple people that G-Sync hardware is going away. Like it's all going to only be G-Sync compatible, or it's going to rely on the chips, the MediaTek chips that are already in place in these monitors. So.
They didn't say that, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I wonder if we're going to end up with 3 tiers. This is one of the things I want to ask NVIDIA next time we have a chance to talk to them. I wonder if we're going to end up with 3 tiers of G-Sync where we have like the FreeSync compatible, FreeSync / G-Sync compatible.
Like baseline.
Yeah, we have the G-Sync compatible third-party controllers, and then we have the Pulsar stuff, which requires some specialized hardware, as I understand it.
Which it sounds like, though, I don't think that's going to require. Like, I don't think that's going to be. I think that
it doesn't require its own thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Brad is the one to ask about this, but I feel like the way they were talking about it was this is tied into that MediaTek stuff. Maybe I'm getting this completely wrong. But
didn't they say it was only IPS panels that could do the Pulsar stuff?
For right now, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they said the first wave of them. It seems like the first wave of monitors. I think there's 3 or 4 monitors coming. They're all 27-inch IPS panels. I assume that means they're all the same exact panel and same exact hardware inside. Yeah. They're also shipping them with the what I like to think of as the we have features your laptops had for the last 2 decades, which is it has a light sensor that can measure color temperature and brightness and adjust your screen brightness based on the ambient.
I already had tuned that out.
The brightness I like. The ambient color temperature thing seems like a nightmare, but that's a whole other. We'll see how that goes when it works.
Well, Mike, now that you've been back for a number of days, have you had a chance to reflect on CES and be like, wow, this is how I thought it was?
I think I broadly agree with everybody. There wasn't any single thing I could point to that would be earth-shattering. I'm gonna have to go with Will's assertion there. Like the solid-state battery thing, that could be just game-changing for so many different industries. Everything else, like I said, nothing that just made me stand up and go, wow. I feel like I'm being whatever the equivalent of shallow is for hardware, for computer hardware. But the Kojima Asus tablet is still my best pick just because it looks so darn cool.
It's not shallow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
cool.
I'm still kicking myself in the butt. So, yeah, we went to the appointment, and I didn't go see it because it was kind of in the back corner. And then you had mentioned it was there, and I was like, oh, you know what? I want to go see it. And then I finally had some time to wander around on Friday, and Asus had already packed up. And I was like, I actually didn't get a chance to see it.
They packed up before the show was done?
A lot of vendors had already packed up on Friday.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm. No, that's pretty standard. It depends on the vendor because even the vendors that did stick around, like I did have to go back to MSI to get some follow-up stuff, and like MSI was just kind of in their suite. It was just kind of like a dead zone. Like a lot of people.
Okay. Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, I'm talking about in suites. I'm not talking about on the show floor.
They packed up booths?
No. I
That's
mean,
wild.
like I barely got to the show floor, so like we rarely go to the show floor.
Did any of you see the Lego Smart Brick stuff? I am like
It was their first time Lego ever had a CES keynote, though, and I was like, "Dang, this must be something important."
It's like one of those things that my read on it is that it is extremely cool because they basically are packing like an Arduino style microcontroller and motion sensors and like 3D space tracking for some sort of like contactless radio tag.
I think it was NFC, weren't they?
Might be NFC. I don't actually know. But the idea is you have these bricks, and the bricks can run code and do things and measure distances between tags and other bricks and stuff like that. And then you can put arbitrary chunks of code on the tags and also track their position in 3D space. And like the demos that they shipped and they're showing are like, when you swoop your X-wing, it makes X-wing flying noises and it shoots.
It has
and
an
blah, blah, blah.
accelerometer in it.
Yeah. But then the people I talked to that actually had early access to the beta kits were like, oh yeah, you could make Johann Sebastian Joust on this thing. You can make games that are standalone games that just happen to use Lego as controls, and it seems really exciting to me.
Friend of the show, I think it was Ziv. Let me see. Maybe it wasn't Ziv. I head over to this. Oh yeah. The smart brick stuff, they tied too much to licensed Star Wars stuff. If it's fully open, I'm in. It felt like they wanted to launch with Star Wars and have that be the big splash. I don't know. I did not get a sense that it's going to be inherently tied to Star Wars.
It's explicitly not going to be. That was one of the questions people asked in the follow-up, is it's not going to be explicitly Star Wars. And I think you'll even be able to buy the bricks standalone, if bricks and tags standalone, if you want.
My biggest question, though, is this a bunch of e-waste? Like, can you replace the battery?
You can replace the. I
Is
don't
it
know if
a
you
watch
replace the battery. It's
battery, or-
rechargeable.
Oh, it's a rechargeable.
So you have a
battery.
contactless pad. They said it was good for thousands of cycles.
Yeah.
And it takes like 5 minutes to charge or something for 45 minutes.
And it was
to
like
play.
custom silicon in partnership with who?
I didn't get.
Yeah, I thought I heard. It was funny to watch. I did watch a couple of the videos, and like to see the Lego influencers be at CES was kind of funny.
Well, it's interesting because they pack, like I said, they're packing basically an Arduino and a bunch of sensors, like the kind of stuff you would get on a microcontroller board, into a 2x4 brick shape with some lights and some speakers and all sorts of other stuff. And like it's technically impressive, but I mean it depends on what they let you do with the app. It depends on how open the app is, whether you can actually write real code, whether how abstract the interactions are. From the folks I've talked to that had early access to it, it seems really exciting. So
yeah. So let me know in the chat. I'm curious to see everyone at home how they thought CES went. I mean, Willis did run a poll. Did you enjoy CES 2026? 22% said yes, 78% said no. So it seems, and judging by the comments, a lot of people were checked out. I mean, viewership for everyone was down.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think people might not understand this, so I think it's worth bringing up too, is that when there are huge announcements that break through to the more normie people who are not like you find folks listening or watching right now, it lifts all boats, right? The more people who have attention, like last year with the 50 series, it got a lot of people to get eyeballs, and then because of that, all the rest of the CES stuff kind of went up. So without any of those top level huge announcements, at least on the PC side, the rest of the announcements just kind of like,
Well, and a lot of the context of the stuff that broke through this year was, man, robots sure are janky, and boy, everybody hates AI, don't they?
I guess there was somebody like boxing a robot.
There were like the number one thing that broke through on my TikTok, which is not super techie, it's more like dad stuff, was mostly robots beefing it, walking around the show floor. Like,
Bam.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
It's for the memes. I feel like I've seen that in other trade shows the
makes
past
sense.
couple years though.
Yeah, I mean it's fun.
Yeah.
Robot. Everybody wants to see the Terminator fall.
Yeah.
I need a slang check here. I don't actually even know how you
Beef
use
it.
it. Yeah.
Beef it. You don't know what to beef
I don't-
it is.
No, not in this context.
It means you fall on your face.
Yeah, just like
in a hilarious
hard.
way, typically. Yeah, like
Yeah.
like
Not like a graceful kind of fall, like a boom.
like
Like
you
cow tipping? Like
I've
fall?
only heard biff it.
think about like an old man fall where you don't even realize you're falling and get
that's
time to
just
get your hands
sad.
out before you hit it.
Well, then you break your wrist
Yeah.
and your hip.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
that's really depressing.
That's a
Will.
beefing it.
Wow.
And also the second part of it that's robot specific is then you have handlers who have to come out and help them up. When I was at IFA, they had that demo of the
This is
the
really
little
sad.
robots trying to play soccer.
Yeah.
So I got to see that in person, and
like-
it was like poor little kids who didn't know how to walk kind of thing. And then when they would fall over, people would rush in to be like, I got you.
It's like, when your toddler's learning how to walk.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Except for they let you know they've fallen by screaming, and they don't just continue trying to walk on their side.
That's to make it even sadder.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
There were a couple of robots that I did actually find interesting, at least in concept. I mean, I can't actually afford a $5,000 robot,
yeah.
but like the basically the cat version of a recharging station was fantastic.
Hold on. I'm
as a
sorry.
You
concept.
recharge your cats?
No, I think it was called like the Jackery Solar Mars Bot.
Oh, okay.
And so this thing is actually programmed to be able to seek out light. So it's a solar recharging like battery, but it's automatically recharging itself. So it's like a cat. It's just following sunbeams around.
Okay. Sorry, you
But, like-
you said cat, and I
that's what
thought
makes
it
me
was
think
gonna.
it's a cat,
I know, but
but
I
in
thought it was going to
robot
be in
form.
a physical form of a cat.
what-
But you don't even have to scoop its litter box, which is amazing.
Why is it? What does it use the charged power for?
It's basically
It
like
finds the sun.
it's just basically like if you need a recharging station, like if you buy like one of those like Anchor kind of things. But this
like
this
those
is-
big ones that Gordon used
Yeah,
to
it's
review.
just this just takes care of itself by
don't-
seeking out sunlight like a cat.
I have a series of questions, but
I know
okay.
you do.
and it's motorized. I mean, the one we have in the office is motorized too. This is essentially just
Well,
like
it'd have
okay,
to be because it weighs like
yeah.
300 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I thought there was some other weird, cool future tech stuff, like a company called Seattle Ultrasonics. We talked about this in the Tech Pod a little bit, but they made an ultrasonic chef's knife. This is the guy who started this company is named Scott Heimendinger, and
What a
he
name.
used to run
That's
a
like,
blog.
It's like a name.
I mean, it's a handle. He used to run a company called a blog called Seattle Food Geek. If you're into early 2000s food blogs, but it ultrasonically vibrates the blade so it cuts through anything. Like you just push down and it cuts through like crusty bread. It was wild, but it's like $400.
What
So
What are you thinking of, Adam? Why?
Adam
why
thinks
such a
ultrasonic
reaction?
is funny.
I'm either imagining somebody like not
No,
being
it
able to
doesn't
control.
move so
I know,
fast that you-
I know. But
It's
then the other
ultrasonic.
one
It's
being
like your toothbrush.
yeah, like a serial killer being like, oh, I can cut through anything.
I think I looked at it.
Oh, well,
Whoa.
Adam.
I
now we
looked
know
at
what
it.
I
run
have
through
wondered
Adam's.
how well it would, like how fast it would cut your finger off, because that is
That-
the
that's
primary
where I
concern.
went.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
sure. That's-
Excuse me, I have a question. How well is it cut through human bone? I'm just asking for a friend.
Oh
Anybody?
no!
Yeah.
Adam watched too many horror films.
Yeah, it's going to show up in the next
Super depressing.
horror film.
Wow. Okay.
Be like, oh yeah, this is the
Great.
thing.
Sponsored by
Yeah.
the Sonic knife thing.
It's not
No,
the
no,
tools
sci-fi,
that are a
because
problem. It's the humans.
one of the go-to like sci-fi swords. If you don't have a lightsaber, then you have like a mono elemental
Filament.
Why can't it? Yeah, some like incredibly thin thing that cuts stuff, or something that vibrates so fast it cuts stuff. So we're like 5 steps away from a real lightsaber. So.
Yeah, it's a
Wait.
vibroblade is what it is.
Wait,
from
so this
KOTOR.
is basically just a sharper version of a string trimmer?
No. Yes. And
Yes, and
Give me 2, please. Also, how well does it cut through bone? Just asking.
oh
Yeah.
god,
I literally
I don't
did
think I
everything.
can come back to the office anymore for these shows.
They were cutting slices of tomatoes so thin you could see through them. It was wild. That's all I'm saying.
And $400 for like a super high-end kitchen knife
Not
is
bad.
not that much.
I don't
like,
wanna-
there's plenty of like regular people who spend $300 on a really good kitchen knife.
Oh, well more
Yeah,
than
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I just don't want to have to charge my kitchen knife.
Yeah.
Hey, Will, want to share a knife?
I
Which half do you want? The pointy end or the pointy end? Or the
I was
handle?
just gonna say you take Monday,
It's a
Wednesday,
timeshare.
Yeah.
Friday. I'll take the rest.
Perfect.
I'm not going to read this out loud, but wow, what a chat conversation that's happening right now. I just want to say that.
I don't. Yeah. Keep going. Just
Anyway.
keep talking. Never stop talking.
It also makes me think of like Thanksgiving. I don't know about you guys, but my dad was very excited to get for Thanksgiving
Special knife out?
the knife that had the 2 like blades that kind of
Oh, he has the
what is that
plug-in
called?
one, the electric carving knife.
the electric carving knife. Thank you. Yeah, and
that's
it
not
was
how
just
you do
like check out how fast I can cut through this
can
turkey.
just- yeah.
and be like, okay, well you're done in 5 minutes, and then it goes in the in the storage for the rest
for
of the
another
year.
Yeah.
Because that's the only time we ever had
sometimes
turkey.
single application tools can really just enhance the
My
quality of
parents
life.
are all about that. My parents are all about single application for sure.
But sometimes
Yeah,
it
we
just
used to have
really
a-
does make a difference.
We had a thing that you'd put an egg, a hard-boiled egg in, and then you whap the top of it, and it shot the egg out without the shell. And then you have to get the little bits of shell out of the inside of the
wrapper
whacked
thing.
version.
Yeah, the whapper.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just the things that have been mentioned, right?
Yeah.
And here I am. So we had a best of CES list, right? So all of the editors, including members of our home team, which who don't come on the show, and one of them, our colleague Sam, mentioned this like e-ink canvas. And while you guys were thinking about serial killers and
I mean, to be fair, it was only me.
I think
other
he was thinking
things-
about killing people. I don't think he was thinking about serial killers.
Always looking out for them,
I'm just-
Hottest news from CES.
I
for
was
serial
just
killers.
thinking, oh wow, this would actually solve my problem, which is one of the reasons why my place looks like a sad bachelor pad is because I can't actually decide on what I want. Like I'm always like, that looks really cool, but I like this vibe, and I'm very indecisive. So I just kind of have mostly blank
Wait,
walls.
Elena, do you have just like one plastic lawn chair in your living room and that's it?
Speaking of serial killers,
Okay,
no.
that's like the high school. Sorry, like fresh out of high school,
Yeah.
like new college freshman vibe. I am a little bit beyond that. Okay.
Okay. Does your guest room have a tarp on the floor?
I live in San Francisco.
Okay,
Who
never
has a
mind.
guest
Yeah, okay,
room,
forget
sir?
that was a non-answer. I just want to point out that was a non-answer.
She didn't deny.
She did not deny the tarp on the
It's a
floor.
typical serial killer move is to accuse somebody else of being a serial killer.
So anyway,
She's like, no, my tarp is in the bedroom, sir.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Wow.
Anyway,
Wow.
sorry.
anyway.
Elena, welcome to the show.
So while you guys were thinking about all this, I was just like, oh wow, like he picked basically it's like I forget what size his version was. I think it might have been more of like maybe like a desktop style thing, like a photo frame.
Yeah.
But there's also versions that are like you can put on the wall, and some of them are like they're not huge canvases. There is I think it's 24 by 36. That's in inches, freedom units, I guess, which is a less funny joke these days. That is like $1,000, which is way out of my budget. But the 13-inch one is like $300 or $400, and it's really cool because you can just basically swap the art. And unfortunately, a lot of these are being sold with like AI built in, but there is the ability to either upload manually yourself, or even some versions have like an SD card. And I went down this rabbit hole for like at least a few hours. I'm like, could I do it myself?
Oh, you can.
I know for sure, but like,
Oh, yeah.
it's could is not asking can a person. Is it could I
Yeah.
actually commit to this project and actually beyond just buying the parts, actually doing it?
Well, so there was a company called Electric Objects, I think, like 10, 15 years ago.
Infinite objects.
No, that's a different thing. But it was they took a 24-inch LCD and they put a little like ARM processor on it, and they hooked it up to their back end, and you could dump photos from your Flickr or whatever onto that, and it would just display them on the wall. But you had to have a power plug to it, which stunk. And the thing that's neat about a lot of these new ones is that they're battery powered. You
Yep.
just plug the battery in like once a month and charge it back up, and then you're good to go.
Or they're even running on like AAA's or something.
Yeah, the thing I don't know is why do we not have like little solar cells and stuff anymore? Like, why is my wireless keyboard not have a little solar cell in it, like my calculator used to?
Because they kind of
My TV remote does.
Your TV remote does?
Yeah, my
Does it
TV
work?
remote does. I mean, yeah, we barely have to charge it, so it's,
Yeah. See, that sounds great. We have all these
And
high.
Logitech just made a new one, a new keyboard with exactly what you're asking for.
Really?
It was like November.
Is it a nice
Wow.
keyboard or is it a kind of crappy membrane keyboard?
I mean, it's. I think it is technically mechanical, like scissor switches, that sort of thing. It's not a full mechanical setup, but it is a solar-powered keyboard.
Maybe what I need is a little robot that rides around on my desk and just plugs into the different stuff with solar panels on top. And then it's like docking to plug in my wireless stuff.
Do you remember the little
It's like
robot?
Elena's robot.
No, like do you remember the little robot I used to have on my desk years ago when we were all in the office, and it would
Vaguely.
like
We're in
it
the
would,
office right now, Adam.
I know, but when we all worked out of the office, and it had a little charging dock, and it would come out and try to like play with me. God, I don't remember.
Was it the Osmo?
Yes. Yeah. You don't remember that?
I might.
Man,
You
Dan,
started
who
here
used to.
before I did, so it might have actually been before.
No, this was when after 2017.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember.
And Dan, who was on the video team at the time, was like, dude, you need to get rid of that thing because it was loud because it had
Oh,
like,
yeah,
track,
it had
you know,
treads. Yeah, that
yeah,
thing
so
was
it was
loud.
the Osmo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it didn't charge itself. Well, I mean, it did dock in its like a wall charger thing, but there could have been a version where it tried to seek out the sunlight.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would've
And
been
plug
fun.
into other stuff. I want it to dock with other things.
There you go. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could have done it.
Zip
Ahead of
later,
its
if you're a
time.
billionaire and want to fund this, let me know. I'll make it happen.
Ahead of its time.
I was very, very taken with this idea because I was like, oh, finally, a solution for my indecisiveness. I could just actually have something on the walls, and then
There you go.
if I don't like it, I can change it.
That's why we have the Samsung Frame TV as well. It's a TV, and when it's off, it's pictures.
I was really sad though because there is a company, or not even a company, like there's a handful of guys in Germany who are doing this. I think it's called like Paperless Paper is the name of the company, and like theirs is fancy. Like it's all like done, and like you just buy the frame with the panel, and I mean supposedly they've like chosen like glass that's less reflective, so it's like easier to like deal with like ambient light and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm also okay with throwing money at a problem, but I don't know what the tariff situation is like. So I guess maybe I have to build this myself.
Well, I was gonna say there's a big DIY community for this kind of thing for the ambient information frames. It's ambient computing is what the category is called. I think there's a couple of like even open source projects that are like, hey, you buy this and you buy a little PC like like a Raspberry Pi type computer, jam it in the back, put it in a frame, and then you can like hook it up to your calendar and your weather and all that stuff. So you have like, normally it's a picture frame, but in the morning it tells you what the weather's going to be and what your schedule is for the day. And
That's
then
kind of fun.
yeah, it seems like it'd be a fun project.
It does really does. It really does.
I've seen a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people stick those behind like a bathroom mirror, so
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
wake up
I've
and
seen
go
a
in,
lot
you
of
see all
mirrors.
that information.
Oh.
I will say, speaking of fancy e-ink stuff, this is the first major trade show I went to with
Oh, with
my
your little
remarkable
guy?
Paper Pro Move, the reporter's notebook
Size
version.
one? Yeah.
And I did get a lot of questions, and it showed up in videos as well because
I saw
was
you
actually
looking
using
down
it.
when you were asking Jensen the questions.
Yeah, and I got a lot of comments in the videos too, being like, "What is that that he's holding?" So I actually plan on doing a follow-up video, like a 3 months later and one major trade show later kind of thing.
How'd it
Because
go?
I mean, good. Like I'm a little less excited about it than I was when I first got it in. Like it has a couple shortcomings, especially when you're in CES and trying to rush around like a madman. But for the most part, like, oh yeah, it was awesome.
Did you all see that HP computer in the keyboard?
Well, he did a video on it. Not only did he do a video on it, it was our top performing
famous.
video.
Really?
Like it's almost like
People are
200,000
very
views on
into
YouTube.
the idea.
Yeah,
Great job, Mike.
our friend over at The Verge, Antonio, did a video on it as
Yeah.
well, and his video did really well.
video
So
popped, yeah.
So yeah, Elena, when I first saw it though, and saw there was a lot of love, I definitely thought of you. What did you think about it?
It was one of my picks for Best of CES.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mike obviously can talk more about the details of it, but I've always been interested in just small form factors, especially like if they're unusual. I like the creativity behind it, and so I kind of like the idea of this as like a sleeper PC. I think Mike, you should go ahead and describe it, right? Because it's supposed to be more for enterprise right now. It's not really meant to be consumer, but yeah.
Yeah, the HP representatives, we actually saw it in New York City about a month before CES. We had a presentation before the show just so that they could, show us stuff and expose us to it before the actual show occurred. So we got some good, right up hands-on time with it without, hundreds of people running around. They did tell us that they're starting it on the enterprise side of things. So they're not going to sell it directly to consumers, or at least that's what they told us right away. But they did say if we get a lot of interest in it, well, we may reevaluate that. Hey, HP, I'd say you've got a lot of interest in it.
That was a lot of interest.
Yeah. As a guy who is obsessed with keyboards specifically, I was disappointed that it was just like a nice laptop keyboard. Not bad, but not something that you would seek out. And I didn't like the fact that it was also a full-length keyboard with the 10 key, but I guess that makes sense if you got to put a lot of guts in there. It's basically just an entire laptop in there minus the screen and the touchpad. So,
I mean,
and also has a battery.
Yeah, it has a battery, so it can work standalone. The other use case we thought of too is that sure you can roll up and just plug in a external monitor to it and a mouse, and off to the races you go, or you can plug in like the X-Real glasses or whatever to sit there and do private stuff.
Well,
I got to say that it garnered so much interest because I think either people fell on one side or the other. The comments, at least on YouTube, indicated that either people really loved the idea and especially loved how you tied it into like Commodore 64s, or they were like, "Who is this for? This makes no sense at all."
I think a lot about, like, I would love to know Wendell's take on this thing, because I know like a lot of times people are in data centers and you walk in, you grab the terminal down, you fold it down. Like, imagine if you fold the little rack down and just plug your keyboard in, and then your computer is there ready to go, and you're not lugging into like the remote terminal there. Like there's a lot of places that this seems like the place that I see this making the most sense, honestly, right up is like hospital rooms and doctors' offices and stuff like that, where they have like a monitor and a keyboard and a mouse hung off the wall in every room, and you just fold it down, and there's the computer, and it's like one less box to have to fool with for the IT folks. But I was immediately curious about it. It's not a thing I need, but it's a thing I need. You know what I mean?
Elena, what would you see a use case for it for you personally?
I don't have a
Okay.
use
It's just
case.
cool.
I
It's
just
just cool,
want
yeah.
it. I mean, so real talk though, if you are more of a hybrid worker, it does seem like there is some use to it, especially if you're going from dedicated. I think Catherine Stevenson, who's one of our longtime editors, part of our home team for CES too, she also picked it. And one of the things that she pointed out is that it's really great for workers who are actually shuttling directly from a setup to a setup. So a lot of us don't really need a laptop for that, because we're not actually road warriors. We're just actually just going from home to office.
And you're just usually just docking the laptop and using bigger displays.
Exactly.
I think that David LT in the chat has a really good point, which for businesses, it doesn't make sense because keyboards are what change more than computers. People spill stuff in keyboards all the time, and the keyboards there's a reason that most IT departments at big companies have a big giant tub of keyboards that they just dole out when somebody ruins one. And making the disposable part of the computer the expensive part of the computer seems high risk in that regard. But I would hope HP's thought about that and has it, it's nice and waterproof. You just take it out, hose it off, and put it back in, and you're good to go.
I mean,
It's
definitely-
not quite that durable, but they did tell us that pretty much every aspect of the PC that can be replaced can be replaced. So you can get easy access to the RAM and the storage, and also just the keyboard component with a couple of extra steps. It can come out and be replaced if you manage to damage one of the keys.
Yeah, I actually did get a photo
That's
of
nice.
the inside of it. It was pretty modular. I mean, you had SODIMMs, M.2
And the whole
slot.
board
I mean, it
comes
just looks more like a laptop, except for where the battery on a laptop usually goes like here.
Yeah.
It's more like, the battery goes
It's where
here
the 10
next
key
to
is,
the
it looks
keyboard.
like.
Yeah.
But and also it looks like, it looks like a really small laptop is what it looks like.
I mean, the other people thing were like, you could just literally bring a mini PC for that. The argument I would say against that is that what if you actually you don't want to touch multiple keyboards, and you're like, the work keyboard and then the home keyboard. At least this is a consistent keyboard between the two experiences, maybe.
I mean, look, if you let me put this in a nice QMX mechanical with hot swappable keys, I'm there. Put me in, coach.
I mean, I think the other thing too, which is missing the point, is that yes, you could have a mini PC, but you actually can't type on it, right? You
Yeah.
still have to bring a separate keyboard, and have to figure all that out in terms of space in your backpack or however you're transporting it.
I mean, unless you have one at work and one at home.
Sure, but I could also see this being a thing where if a company doesn't necessarily want to deploy all that, it just gives options, right? And one of the nice things about seeing form factors like this, and what makes it exciting for me, is that it's really fun to see different form factors. It's different. It's fun to see that there are more options out there rather than fewer options out there.
Definitely.
This is the nice thing about the PC. We have options
I will also say there was
for a while.
at least a handful of comments in the video being like, man, I wonder how well this will run Fedora or some Linux distribution. We didn't ask about Linux specifically, but I mean this is just off the shelf laptop hardware for the most part. And actually I would say there's less to worry about because you don't have to worry about a webcam or speakers. Actually, did it have speakers built in?
I believe it did have
Oh,
speakers
you
built
did?
in.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
Well,
But
those are pretty small.
yeah. Well, I mean, just when you think about Linux, sometimes like certain components have a hard time.
Yeah, audio's hard. It turns out
Yeah.
sometimes.
Oh,
yeah.
really? Will?
No, I did a stupid.
Yeah, he did a stupid. Check Dual Boot Diaries this week.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So what else? What else did the home team see that got chatter?
Let's see. Things. I thought it was interesting. Nobody talked about RAM that I saw.
I mean,
Weirdly,
actually, there was plenty of discussions about RAM,
Oh.
but most of the discussions were, we have no idea what's going on. Like, there's nothing to talk about at this point.
Well, Mark, who's been on the show, and he was obviously on the show during the CES one, I believe he actually talked to Micron. So we do have a story on the site where
was a good story.
where there is some direct discussion about it. I don't think necessarily about specific pricing, but one of the tidbits was that this likely, I don't know if it was his discussion with Micron or a different vendor. I might be conflating a couple of different stories he wrote because he wrote a lot because that dude's a beast. But that we should anticipate this lasting as long as 2 years.
that's
Yeah.
what that aligns.
Yeah,
I would say 2 years on the low end is what I've been hearing.
Actually, I did a video with one Dr. Ian Cuttress from Tech Potato. It'll go up on the Full Nerd Extra Edition, I think,
Nice.
tomorrow maybe.
Nice.
And I asked him about something else, and the conversation got steered towards RAM. And he essentially his advice to people was, "Hey, you know that back catalog of games you have? Yeah, you should probably cozy up to that.
Get used to that.
Yeah, get used to that. Play some things, you know, that you wanted to play, or invest in something like a monitor that you've been meaning to invest in."
The rumor. How do I say this without getting anybody in trouble? My understanding is that things that would indicate new consoles are coming in the next few years would indicate that may not be the case as much anymore. And that timeline may be up in the air now in a way that it wasn't 6 months ago.
So I know we normally steer away from politics on the show, but I will say just enough to mention like the effect that I do think that we may be looking at a period of, I wouldn't say necessarily freeze in tech, but slowing or like, well, maybe it is a freeze where it just kind of lingers on a certain spot for a while, just due to both the AI stuff and then also potential geopolitical tensions and fallout from that.
Yeah.
I got to say, there were a couple vendors that I expected to see there, more smaller vendors that did end up canceling CS, and then there were a non-trivial amount of appointments that I went up to that I was like, oh yeah, I have you on the list. I show up every year. What do you got new to show off? And they were like, well, nothing new, but have you seen the thing that we released a couple months ago?
Well, because the thing is, the folks, like the people have booths even if they don't have anything new to show, because it's cheaper to just pay for the booth this year than it is to not pay for it and lose their space and have to try to fight for a new space next year, right?
Yeah, and it's still good to be visible, right? It's like the whole thing where it's like if you say no to someone inviting you to a party long enough, they just stop inviting you to parties.
Yeah. This is my wife's Christmas card strategy.
There you go.
She stopped sending Christmas cards. She stopped getting Christmas cards.
Ruru asked was Steam. I think they mean Valve at CES. I mean, not that I saw. Maybe
Valve
there were
sometimes
actual
does closed door
representatives.
meetings, but they don't generally do
Yeah,
floor
so
stuff
I
anywhere.
but I did get to see a mock-up Steam machine.
Ooh.
So JSOX, the component manufacturer, did you stop by too? Yeah, so they
did.
had a mock-up Steam machine, which I assume is probably
like the physical
the
dimensions
physical dimensions of, well, because they were talking about how they're going to sell the swappable faceplate
Yeah.
things. So it was the first time I got to see it in person, and I was like, yeah, this is the right size that I expected. Like, so just, I mean, that's my only Steam thing that I have to say. And
There
then
were rumors that actually came out about pricing because I think the thought was that a retailer put a price, like a placeholder price, into a database that got leaked. But everyone kind of like, as the internet does, freaked out because it's like, oh, it's going to be
Oh
so
my God.
expensive.
I mean, placeholder prices can be all across the
They
board.
can really be. Yeah.
Would you have a question? I guess this is getting into the next thing, but for the home team, was there anything in the PCWorld chat that maybe, I mean, it was hard to follow Slack Was there anything that
not
everybody
in the
else at
PC
home
World
was
Slack.
talking? I know, but I'm looking at Elena. Was
me.
it? Yeah.
The question is for me.
This is an Elena question.
Yeah. You were in the PC World Slack, obviously with the other people at the home team. Was there any discussions that you don't think bubbled up to the level of the podcast that we talked about?
I mean, I don't know if we were necessarily discussing the tech, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
I think mostly it was just like, got that edit
Got that
on
in.
it.
Okay.
On it.
Yeah.
Did any of you see that Hyperspace trackpad? The let's see, Hyperspace Trackpad Pro. It was a Kickstarter device that is a haptic trackpad for PCs, in the same way that the Magic Trackpad is for Macs. I'm
Why do we
curious.
want to import anything from that side?
Well, the trackpad's nice.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
actually is pretty nice.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan.
Like the reason we have trackpads on Windows laptops that are usable today is because Apple, when they started doing the unibody Macs, like figured out multi-touch on a laptop to control a desktop PC. It's quite good. And having something that you can use on a desktop I would love from an ergonomic standpoint. In the same way that Adam's a weirdo for liking trackballs, this hits my.
Which
did you?
I know.
That's what I was
didn't
gonna
get
ask
to
you.
see it. I didn't get to
Did
see
you?
it.
There's a new trackball?
You didn't see the Keychron? Like
No,
what was it?
no.
Mike, what was it called? You would know. It starts with an N, I think. Something Pro.
I actually didn't see that either, and I went to Keychron's at a couple different places, and I didn't see it out.
Yeah,
they just had their
didn't.
weirdo
I didn't
stuff.
see it out
It's
either.
in my list. Hold on, let me actually bring up my.
I did actually talk to Antonio at The Verge once again, who
Shout out
did
to
an-
Antonio.
Yeah, who did an article on it, and I was like, "Hey, listen, I know you're curious about this. You should look at other implementations as well." But I did like the idea. Oh yeah, here we go. Keychron Nape Pro.
Nape Pro.
Thank you, David.
Like the nape of your neck. It's a weird name.
Sure. I did like the idea that it can be kind of placed almost anywhere. It's a
Here.
very, for people who don't know, it's like a flashlight size length.
Here, this
you
one
know,
looks
kind
like-
of. Yeah. So essentially,
Oh.
like a width of two
It
buttons.
looks very retro.
It's very retro.
Wow, that's weird.
My problem is the ball size.
Wow.
Nope.
Compared to a professional trackball, it is quite small. Yes.
Yeah, and that's why.
Oh my.
I'm not laughing here. This is serious. This is serious talk here. The bigger the ball, the better. Okay.
Dude, you have to know you can't
ball,
say it like
better.
that.
How do I
You
how do I
can't
say it? It's
like
literally a trackball.
What are you doing with
ball,
these
better.
balls, Adam? Jesus.
Oh my. Beep.
Anyway, that's why I typically don't like the thumb-based ones
Yeah.
because of the size.
you like to have your whole hand
Yeah.
on the ball.
But I will say, pushing forward, that I do like the idea that it can be placed in multiple different areas, and it's way more pocketable. I did end up bringing my trackball to CES.
Yes, you did. Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah. But
There
to
was-
bring this, maybe I'd adapt for like a smaller trade show kind of thing.
There was also another one. I think maybe someone mentioned it in our Discord server that there was one that looked like a vertical mouse, but there was a like trackball
Yeah.
for like that.
Logitech has
Was it
made one of
that?
those.
Okay, was it
I
that
mean, I
one?
don't know if they were talking about Logitech.
So I was wondering
but
if you had seen
Logitech.
that too, because at this point it's like if it's floor candy, if it's sniffable, or if it's a trackball, we just think Adam should know about this.
I mean, listen, Kensington was at PepCom, and I had a really good conversation with the people at that.
They were probably pretty
manning
excited
the
to
booth.
meet you, number one trackball fan.
I mean, they knew who I was. One of the guys at the table actually was the
Yeah,
guy I
recognized
worked
your
with for
fingers.
Because
the review.
Yeah,
unit.
I talked to him about you.
Oh,
first,
you did
yeah.
too. Okay, yeah. And then the other lady who I think was more on the PM side, I'm not quite sure, but we went through each of the issues that I had addressed in the video, and they were like, "Yeah, we're looking into it.
Not
We're looking
add an
into it,
onboard
for
RAM
sure."
to the thing.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, okay.
So anyway,
Can we talk about?
Actually, real
yeah,
quick,
yeah.
let's just move into what we missed, because I think at this point,
What
other
we
than the home
missed?
team, we have the next section. Just kind of wrap what we're doing, mopping up the small stuff.
Oh, like the
we
stuff
didn't
that like
talk
other
about.
outlets saw that we didn't, kind of thing, or
Or things we didn't get a chance to talk about from
Last week.
or people were too drunk last week to talk about. So yeah.
Okay, if that's the case, I'm gonna jump in. I want
Please.
to ask first. Okay, the two questions I had for you, Adam, and then also Mike. One, what was it like to see that 52-inch monitor? Did you actually get to see it in person? Yeah, nice. I want to hear
The
about
Dell
that.
one?
Yeah, that one. And then, how did you like really feel about the fanless like concept handheld? Those are my two questions off the gate.
Go ahead, Mike.
The 52-inch monitor I was really impressed by. I mean, it is basically just a whole TV that's sitting on your desk, and you might have seen like regular desk setups that just use a full TV instead, just because it's 4K resolution. It's pretty darn usable now with the way that we manage Windows, but it was designed to be a primary thing in your middle workspace and then also have enough space on the side to be the same as secondary monitors, which is the setup that I have, right in front of me.
Was it too close?
And
though?
it's
like, do you feel like you have to get like a certain distance from it?
it was set up like a lot deeper than a typical monitor.
Okay.
So you're not like sticking your nose right on the panel or anything.
Okay.
It would definitely take some getting used to, because even with a pretty sizable triple monitor setup that I've got here, it is way more vertical space. And in order to effectively use it, you might have to adjust some of your working layout stuff.
Okay.
Holy,
Sorry,
it's
are
$3
you,
grand.
You're talking about the thing we saw
I mean,
at
come
Dell,
on.
right?
You weren't expecting to be
Yes.
cheap, were
Yeah.
you?
I mean, I could get a 52-inch TV for pretty cheap.
Yeah, but dude,
It is-
the pixel density and the USB
and this
hub
is their
and all
ultra
that
sharp
stuff.
line, so
Yeah.
Dell really
Yeah.
does
It
put
was a nice
a
monitor.
lot into that.
Okay.
It was honestly a little less than I was expecting based on all the technology that they put into it. It's I would say it's not totally unreasonable if you're investing in like a very specific tool that you are using for work. They were not positioning this as a watch movies, play games kind of display. It was,
Get stuff done.
observe 8 different stocks at once.
I mean,
kind
it
of
was
thing.
essentially like if you had 4 1080p panels, like in a
Well, that's
normal
what a
setup.
4K is.
Oh, it was more than that. It was
Yeah.
like I would say 6 1080p panels.
Yeah, I mean not from an actual pixel count. I just mean like yeah, there's a lot of people who have multiple monitor setups at home. This does really make it easy. Rather than going ultra wide, it's like instead of going ultra wide, let's just put that extra space. Sorry.
Whoa.
I'm gesticulating all over the
Whoa.
place. You put it also. You fill the vertical space as well. Yeah, this thing is like a productivity.
It's
beast.
6144 by
It's 6K.
2560.
Yeah,
It's insane.
It's 61 by 25, I think is what we call it.
Yeah, it's what Gordon
I
would
would
say.
be curious though, like if you were to be presented with an option of this versus, let's say, even a 48 inch
Peasant monitor
OLED
is what I'm hearing.
OLED TV, which is something that people have been doing.
Yeah.
Like which one would you pick? I guess having seen it, Mike.
For me, if I was building it for my primary setup, which is both work and play, I would go for 48-inch OLED, and I believe that's I think that's 27 inches on the side. Like if you have 27-inch monitors and you put them vertically, it's either 42 or 48 that you match them up, and it's almost perfect as far as continuity of your workspace. So there are a few people that do exactly that and enjoy it greatly. Just in terms of price, you could probably get that for about
Gonna say, yeah.
$1,800, $1,900. So that would be more effective. And also you can have that primary display as your gaming monitor. So that's what I would go for.
It's even cheaper now. Some of the I want to say budget, but more entry level lines are under $1,000 now for those OLED displays.
For like 4K OLEDs, you can get a pretty nice 4K OLED for gaming, even for like
Yeah.
$999.
Yeah,
And if you're 1440p,
come down a
they're
lot.
like 600.
Come down a
I think
lot.
we saw them as low as 450 at the
Black Friday. Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of OLED, I actually did get a chance to bump into one Tim from Hardware Unboxed.
Okay.
And I did an interview, which will be going up on PCWorld's channel, I think, in 2 days,
Okay.
about his OLED burn-in test. Because I just want to be like, hey, you've been working on this for a while. I've got questions, like how serious of an issue it is. Like, really good video. So watch out for that.
Did anybody see the new layout of the subpixels?
Yep.
The vertical, what is it called? Vertical stripe RGB or something?
Yeah. It's like Samsung and LG's 5th generation technology.
QD
to-
OLED, I think. Right?
QD OLED that helps the subpixel arrangement and makes it more clear for text, which is kind of weird because the ones, the 4th generation, I guess, that we had been using since last CES, I felt was like already like a major
I thought it
boost
was
in
pretty
sharpness.
good, yeah.
And this one, like, MSI even had like a little magnifying glass that you could get in. It looked nice for sure, but I don't feel like it was a major leap in terms of sharpness.
The big difference is that instead of having them in kind of a triangle layout where like one color was at each point of the triangle, it's 3 vertical stripes where one is longer, one is medium, red is long, green is medium, and blue is small because of the relative brightness differences, I think.
Yeah.
So I was curious.
I mean, it looked nice for sure.
But not like an immediate standout. It's hard to tell on the show floor.
Yeah. Well, also, I'm not a monitor nerd like Brad. I think he's probably someone better suited for that. But I was moving up at my home office space from a more generic IPS panel to an OLED. So like the jump was huge anyway. This is more like an iteration off of what we had kind of already seen. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, good, but I don't think it's like, oh man, I bought one last year. Dang it, I got the wrong one. Like I don't think you would get anxiety.
I mean, monitors are so good now.
Right.
Yeah.
And like we're in a situation where last year coming out of CES, the decision on monitors was, oh, do I get a 1440p OLED or can I splurge for the 4K OLED? Now with the Pulsar stuff coming only to the IPS panels, it's like I really want to spend some time with both and make it like I'm wildly curious.
So I feel like for me, and it's one of the reasons why I kind of take a more of a backseat in terms of how actively I follow like the TV display space, is because I feel like there's always something new that's coming, and I'd rather wait for not even just 2nd or 3rd gen, that by the time it gets to 4th or 5th, the prices have come down, and it is just like all the tech is really smoothed out by that point. And so even though G-Sync Pulsar is very interesting to me, because I actually have an especially difficult time with like tracking targets and aim, because I think of like motion clarity. Like I just can't really figure out like visually like what's happening. It just, my brain is not wired for that. That I'm actually very curious about this technology, but at the same time, I also feel like it's one of those things that it is actually the equivalent of enthusiast hardware. Like to me, this is one of those things that people who are really passionate about it are going to get in early, and they're going to play with it. They're going to, critique it, and it's just going to improve. And so that after a certain point, we are going to start seeing it just kind of trickle out and trickle down into more of that like mid-tier, even more entry-level tier monitors. And then you don't actually have to necessarily make that choice, where it's like, oh, do I get this or do I get the OLED? I think there's going to be some point where like the technologies will
presumably it'll all converge.
Yeah, all converge. Yeah.
I will say that most of the talk around the Pulsar stuff obviously was with gaming. I think it's hard. Who is it? Lewis Law, friend of the show, and Lewis Law says they need one for design and gaming. I'm kind of in that same boat too, where like I want it mixed use. They said OLED isn't good on the design side. I will say I did see, so MSI had one, and I believe Asus had one too, where they took OLED panels and actually did the color calibration off of the line in ways that could be used more for productivity stuff, because they even admitted, they were like, hey, most of this OLED stuff is kind of more contrasty
it's
for
tuned
gaming.
For HDR looking good, not for looking like realistic.
And the
Didn't
MSI
Acer
one,
have one of those as well?
Oh yeah. And MSI specifically had one, or MSI's specific one even touted the fact that it has an application that'll run on a Mac, so that you can get the same color calibration on your MacBook to your monitor. So
they have like profiles basically.
Yeah. I mean I didn't.
It seemed like specifically they're going after the kind of color calibration you get from buying Apple's expensive 5K monitor.
Yeah.
Like this is the first year in a long time that I've seen anybody go after Apple's high-end display.
Yep. And I got to tell you what, I mean, in person, of course, it's a demo trade show floor. Like it did really pop. I had it in one of the videos that I did. And yes, Lewis, I am in the same exact boat as you. Like I care more about color accuracy because I'm doing more work on it at this point.
So this is a question very much out of ignorance. Like, because OLED to me in my head operates in a, not obviously the same manner, but a similar manner to CRT, right? Where it's like you're just turning things on and off. Like, why is it that with OLEDs we haven't gone to a point where we're doing the same kind of color calibration that, we had with that older technology?
I mean, from what they were telling me, it's usually they're kind of aiming for the gamers.
Oh, it's just really
right
just
now.
no one's bothered to. It's not. It wasn't
Well,
a technological limitation.
I mean, I'm sure on the production side, but I think now that it's trickling down to consumers, they're like, oh, okay, hey, listen, we're trying to get more.
Or they have to make a choice between, like, this is a guess. I'm not, just to be clear, they have to make a choice between precision and wider gamut, and they go with wider gamut because wider gamut sells and looks better on the wall.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm the problem.
No, probably good Brad question, honestly, because I'm not deep in that space either.
Cool.
Let's see. Elena had a two-parter.
I did. The other half was for you, Adam, because I wanted to know about the fanless the handheld, because I was actually going a little bit quickly, and I actually miswrote it originally in a draft form of the newsletter, and Brad's like, hey, there's a factual error. It's actually not from Lenovo. It's a concept.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. So one of the questions I had for you was like, how feasible do you think it would be to actually see this in a normal production version at some point?
I mean, I can talk to it in the handheld, but I can also talk to this in a bigger landscape of these new revolutionary cooling technologies, right? Yeah, this handheld specifically that Ventiva was showing off. Ventiva has the ionized air solution, different than the Furore, which has the XMEMS vibrating plate solution. So whatever.
These are both fanless cooling solutions.
These are,
Right.
different kinds of. I mean, the idea is, hey, we need to move past fans. They take a lot of space. They're loud. They're not as effective in certain situations. Most of the time, since we've seen, like, Gordon broke that news with he didn't break the news. Let's just say he had a very large video that blew up about what we had saw at CES years ago with Furore Airjet kind of thing. Most of the time, these companies are coming out with concept or repurposing. So they'll take an existing device off the shelf, or maybe they'll work with the manufacturer, rip out the fans and replace them to say, hey, look.
So retrofitting them,
Retrofit,
basically.
there we go. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. And yes, the Furore did have a Zotac device that launched a couple years ago. That wasn't a perfect implementation either. And at this point, just to tell you the truth, I have gotten to the point where it's just like I'm seeing a lot of these retrofits. I actually didn't end up doing a video at the Furore booth. They did have some interesting stuff, but at this point, it's like, guys, like we need to start seeing some shippable devices, which I'll get to in a second. But this is the first time that I saw a handheld with that. Furore did have some concept stuff, but they never. It was never anything we were able to do a video on. This is the first time where Ventiva was like, hey, yeah, we got the Lenovo Legion Go. We swapped out the fan. They did have the fan there, put in our ICE technology solution. And guess what? We're able to run into the same TDP ranges. It's performing exactly the same, but then, boom, it is completely silent operation.
That's wild.
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, I did not substantiate that. I could not get some hands-on testing with that.
Even if you couldn't have heard it on the show floor anyway. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I mean, I think a lot of these companies at this point too, if you're going to come out with a concept, you also you need to be able to say, hey, you know what, we have some third-party testing that backs up our claim, because I just think where we're at in this, it's just taking a lot of time, and a lot of people, rightfully so, are getting bored with this concept because they're just waiting for it. Anyway, so I was excited specifically because it was a handheld.
Yeah.
And it was a retrofit. I was gonna touch it anyway. But the larger story is for both Ventiva and Furore, because I had forgotten that Furore did come up with a different device, is that both Ventiva and Furore came up with devices that they had went out and built themselves from the ground up. Because the problem is that they're working with a lot of these companies. Even Ventiva had Dell and Intel at their booth last year, but those were still retrofits. So these companies are working with these companies, but the companies they're working with aren't willing to show anything yet, or they're not willing to do the heavy lifting of, okay, we're going to completely redesign a futuristic system for people to see the benefit of it.
So they're basically coming in and saying, like, here's how it looks.
Yeah.
Here's how you would
So
do
a
it.
reference device. Yeah. So Ventiva worked with Compal, Intel, and AMD to make their own laptop that they designed with AMD and Intel, and then Compal is the one who produced it, and say, hey, this is a from the ground up piece of hardware that was designed for this cooling solution. Here are the benefits, yada yada. Once again, I wasn't able to get any verification of the testing. Like
It would be really,
yeah.
actually, honestly, it would be really cool for them to actually just put one in a reviewer's hands, just so that they can actually see. Because the thing is that even though this is a prototype, I mean, every outlet has a different angle, and we know this, right? So even this might actually segue nicely into the whole Q&A section that we have later. The thing is that as a company, you can actually still choose who looks at your products, because you know that someone will look at it for this, someone will look at it for this, someone will take it for this angle. And it's not that they're it's not that they're so horribly compromised in their bias. It's just that everyone has a slightly different lens that they look at things, right? And so if they chose people who they knew, like, for example, Gordon, someone who's just going to look at hardware for what it is and just talk about it in neutral terms, more neutral terms, and let it stand, then at least they have some feedback on that, and it gets the word out too. So I'm hoping that they put it into someone's hands at some point.
Well, and actually benchmark. I mean, they did have it running. I was able to
but it's
to verify
than,
hardware,
it's
but yeah,
when you actually just,
benchmarking
like,
it and
you
using
just
it.
let somebody
Yeah,
actually
for sure.
play with it.
So it's something I want to follow up on for sure. But either way, yeah, so Ventiva had this new one with Compal. I actually gave it best in show for a couple reasons. Number one, because it's a ground up design. Number two, because the back end of it had the little extension, like a little chin on the back. Like you see this with a lot of like gaming
like
laptops.
when you said that, I immediately thought of an Alienware laptop.
Exactly, yeah. So it has a little bit that juts out, not super deep, but in order for people to see the design and how they implement the ice system in there, they gave it a transparent plastic back shell.
Fun.
And I was like, guys, this is hot. Like, I know you're not going to sell this because this isn't a shippable product.
Why not?
But please try to get the companies that you're working with to understand that transparent plastic is chef's kiss. Anyway, so I gave it best of show for those two reasons. I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. But I will say once again, the Frore thing, which I had actually forgotten, they did have a reference unit that they built with Qualcomm that they showed off at their Snapdragon Summit. Is that what they call it?
They had it in their smaller presentation area. They had both a tablet, which I think was running, showing the air moving, and it was running on a Windows-based Qualcomm setup. They had a later Surface tablet next to it. It was half as thin, running on the same chip, or approximately the same chip. And then they also had a mini PC, a Mac Mini style PC, that was like 1/3 the thickness.
Yeah, imagine a Mac Mini size, but it was like this thin. So they were showing it off at CES, but they actually originally showed it off at the Snapdragon thing that in
like the one they do normally,
Hawaii.
like in October.
Yeah. But it wasn't like heavily publicized. So Frore did come out with something that they worked with the team to do, like a reference design, which I think is good. Like, I think ultimately this is going to take time for these kind of systems to come out. I am hearing that one of the bottlenecks is, I mean, you have to completely redesign, which is a good thing. Like when I talked to the thermal engineer from Dell, really nice guy, Travis North, he was like, "Hey, listen, we can't wait to implement this stuff because you can literally do different things and you're not constrained by having those fans in there. But that takes a lot of tooling. It's not like you can just all of a sudden swap them out and be like, okay, here's the next XPS.
Like the whole
and
manufacturing line has to change. Basically.
Yeah, everything about the motherboard.
Because it sounds like they're going to change the layout pretty much.
You change. I mean, you can if you want to. You don't have to. The Compal one was actually pretty standard. It still had the battery and then the main board kind of thing, like in terms of where it's located. But they're like, hey, you can. The sky's the limit. So it's going to take time to actually do that tooling and like have a complete redesign from the ground up. So I think from the company side on that end, like that's just going to take time. Like even if the company was redesigning a new XPS from the ground up.
It makes sense though, because especially because they're a larger company, right? So everything in terms of scale is larger too. So if they're going to do something, have to do it well.
And they do rigorous testing.
And it's really good. Otherwise, it's really going to affect them.
Yeah.
Well, but at the same time, these big companies like Dell and HP, I think, are going to be less likely to invest the time and energy to do these redesigns. Because what if they do and then Frore can't deliver enough of the coolers, right? Like it's a real chicken or egg situation. Because in order for them to sell this into a big laptop, then they need to have the volume to sell into the big laptop. And is the big laptop going to invest in this if they can't make the volume of coolers needed?
Yeah.
And
there's definitely a lot of chicken and egg going on.
Maybe, but I also think that, I think Dell's smart enough to also realize that this is going to be more of a premium product, right? So they're probably not going to be targeting your Inspiron right away. It's probably going to be in a business laptop, and it's probably going to be a very high-end business laptop is my guess.
It's also going to be, and we know a lot of these companies like to show up to places like CES with a piece of flair, something to be like, hey, you know what? We got this Halo device. Mm-hmm. Check us out. It's kind of like the rollable laptop screen thing, right? Like concepts. So I think they're all trying to
can't help but notice we didn't talk about that at all.
Before we jump, I actually did want to get your opinions, all of you, on this too. Do you think that also, in some ways, this technology is waiting for something to go more hand in hand tandem with it, like the solid state batteries?
I mean, I think that it's the solid state battery should be slot in theoretically with
Sure.
like in terms of like you just take the
Sure, but if it reduces, because if I remember right, solid state batteries have less heat generation.
Yeah.
So that means that something like FRORS or any other fanless technology wouldn't have to work so hard to cool the system, or it allows more power otherwise, right? So then you could get some kind of halo product where it's like, this is running a
here's the
50,
next
it's
gen.
like it's running like right now equivalent of a 5080, but it's entirely fanless because like you've managed to pull down thermals elsewhere in the system. Like I'm wondering if it's waiting for something like that to like really wow people to like pull them in, or if it is just, as Will was saying, a scale issue.
I think that the heat generation, like I don't the fundamental problem with all the fanless stuff, as I understand it, is that the volume of air that they can move just is like extremely low power. So we're not going to be in a situation where we see like a laptop that Adam's excited about with a giant discrete GPU in it running on one of these fanless solutions for a long time, is the feeling I get. Is that correct?
I will say that they've definitely talked a lot more about scale. I think we're closer than ever. But I don't think that's a bottleneck. I think it's just like, once again, it's you got to get this whole thing going, and it is a chicken and the egg in a lot of ways kind of thing. So they seem to indicate scale is not.
I have a handheld question.
Just the way you said that, I was like, oh, here we go.
Oh no, we were talking about handhelds kind of briefly there.
I love handhelds. I saw more handhelds.
So Intel, as part of their keynote when they were talking about Panther Lake, mentioned that they have a Panther Lake handheld initiative.
Oh, yeah, the beef. This is how I know the word beef.
The beef?
They were beefing with AMD.
Yeah, thank you.
They didn't
Thank
beef
you,
it.
Adam.
They were beefing with
Thank
AMD.
you.
Look, beef contains multitudes.
I mean, it really does.
But yeah, so they had a slide up in the middle. It was like, hey, we love novel form factors. Handhelds, we think there's a lot of money there. They didn't say that, but it was, slide is implied. And we think it's, and then they didn't say anything about any kind of design wins or have any hardware on the picture. It was just like it looked like it was a kind of like sketch of a handheld with no logos or anything. And I was curious if you saw any Intel handhelds that have Panther Lake in them at CES. Mike Greider's shaking his head.
No comment? I'm just kidding. No.
Wow.
Listen, I do not consider myself an investigative journalist. But there are some things that I really do dig really deep into because I was asking those questions. Hey, where are they? I
assumed your two top questions were, hey, what's your handheld strategy and what's going on with your Linux strategy?
Oh, well, the third one is what does it smell like?
Nobody wants to know that.
Gosh, the things.
We're good.
I will say it is coming. Intel is taking this serious. I mean, AMD is taking this serious too, for sure. Intel has a lot more to prove. I mean, Lunar Lake was good, but one of my questions at the time too is like, man, Lunar Lake in the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus, whatever the name of it is,
great name.
Looks, I mean, it
really
performs really well. Like stands toe to toe, even with the Z2 Extreme series. I would think that they would want to lean even further into it. They've indicated that as well.
Now they have a GPU or it's a system of chips. What do they call it now?
Yeah, system of chips.
So seems good.
Believe me, there was a lot of talk on the back end. The vibe that I got, that I can say publicly, is this is going to make a big splash that they didn't want to have it at CES.
Oh, you don't want to burn anything real good on CES.
I mean, that also could be an excuse for maybe it's not ready. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I have every indication that that is coming.
Did it feel like Panther Lake was coming in hot?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
But also hot in a good way too.
Like both kinds of hot. Like the parts are coming. Like some guy hand delivered the parts at the last minute as they were rolling in and setting up the booths. Hot or like that hot?
No, not like that.
Okay.
Just more like Intel came out with being like, "Hey, Panther Lake, we think is hot shit." Beep.
Wow.
Yeah. To the
That must be really
fact
good.
Well,
to the
actually-
fact that we
Adam.
got to sit down and benchmark laptops.
What?
Yeah.
didn't know this?
Yeah. So actually, I was gonna say it's hilarious to me that I was gonna bring this up when there was a good insertion point, and this seems to be
I'm
it.
surprised
But
you didn't know this.
it's really funny to me because like we spent so much time talking about things that we thought were interesting in the show, and we talked about that there wasn't really any major hardware news, but there actually were a couple of really interesting tidbits, and one of them is the fact that Intel like straight up said like, hey, our integrated graphics in Panther Lake can go toe to toe with the 4000 series, NVIDIA's 4000 series, the discrete GPUs. And so Mark, I think,
That's for the 12 GPU core part.
Yeah,
I assume.
the X9.
I think it was Mark who had a chance to actually do some benchmarking.
We both did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
okay, so you can speak on it.
No, the Intel had a dedicated room with probably like 12 Panther Lake laptops set up. Had their engineers there on hand. Tap was there, gave a little presentation to start it off, and essentially they were like, "Here's your laptop. Do whatever you want with it." Well, not whatever you want with it. They did have some stipulations. They were like, no CPU based benchmarks, no synthetic benchmarks. So they were like, but you can bring any game. We got a bunch of pre-installed games. You can just run whatever you want. Look at the battery. They gave us watt meters.
Interesting.
I'm a little skeptical of these usually because they usually are like real constrained, but this sounds more open than I've ever heard.
That's what I mean. That actually sounds like a sign of confidence.
That was the thing, is that we've had these plenty of times before, but what happens is that these are like reviewer workshops where you do it at CES because everyone's already there, but then it's embargoed for the actual launch of the product. So this was like, even to the point where somebody had asked it, and I can't believe I didn't ask it, maybe just because I was like taken aback. Somebody was like, oh, we could do whatever, we can post something right now. They're like, yeah, you could even live stream it if you want. And at that moment I was like, we could have live streamed this. I was like, I had a split second of like, I was like, I gotta call up Willis and do it right now. I was
you
like,
should have just done off your phone.
Could I do it on my phone?
You should have just done off your phone.
I know.
Man.
I panicked because then I was like, well, do I prioritize that or do I try to prioritize a standalone video? I ended up doing a standalone video, but
next year Adam's gonna bring his own DJI Osmo or whatever it's called. Yeah.
Well, actually, I mean, I had my glasses. I could have streamed, but it only goes to Instagram. Anyway, so yes, like,
that's wild.
They came out with confidence.
I've literally, like, just to be clear, every time I've ever been in a demo and they're like, hey, you can benchmark stuff you've run, like, this is super cooked. Like, this is very suspicious.
I changed power profiles. I did testing. So my testing, I wanted to see like on battery versus off battery, if the performance is going to fluctuate. Like, I mean, they opened it up in a way that I was just like, wow, I've never
shipping laptops or like dev kit.
No, these were their reference laptops. I believe they were MSI designs. I actually can't remember off the top of my head.
But yeah, that was wild.
So they came in hot that way, but then also hot the other way in terms of like, oh wow, these are going to be shipping. Obviously, the market is down. How much are they going to allocate? What's the yields like? There was all those questions that still didn't get answered either. But
go ahead.
I was going to say, it's kind of wild because Intel has been talking about Panther Lake now for so long that now that it's almost out, it feels like it's old and we're done talking about it.
That was the other problem too.
I feel like I understand why they did it. They had to do it because they had stock problems and they had to get news about how great 18A was out. But also, if they had rolled out with something that was like, hey, we have battery life of Lunar Lake and performance of Arrow Lake and a little bit faster GPU and a lot faster GPU, they would have lit the world on fire if we didn't all already know that this was coming.
I mean, and this was, like I was talking about earlier with the fanless solutions, this was hey, we've given you the numbers. Now you literally can do your own numbers kind of thing. And it was.
It does seem to me like Intel definitely feels confident about something. Because even when we were watching, you and I were watching the Intel live stream, one of the things that I commented on, especially in that segment where they were talking about like GPU stuff and the competition, it was the first time I had ever heard them actually name their competitors. And I was like, that is a difference. And I don't know if it's just maybe, I don't want to say generational, but in some ways, maybe a generational difference in terms of like, we always in the past just never named it because I don't know, maybe legal concerns, maybe it's just the more civil air quotes thing to do. But I was very surprised when they literally named the competition on the stage.
The other thing that was striking about that keynote compared to like the Lunar Lake launch and even the Meteor Lake launch, I guess the year before, Was Meteor Lake 2024?
Yep.
So is that they didn't have any designs on the stage. So like at Computex, the Lunar Lake year, they brought HP and Lenovo. Or they didn't bring HP because I guess that's an American company, but they brought Lenovo, and I think they had a Dell guy there. Like they had Asus come out on stage and Acer come out on stage, and they were like, "Hey, here's our first Lunar Lake laptop. This is going to be great. It's like this size and this weight and all that." They didn't have any of that this time, and I wonder if that's again a executive suite change to the new strategy, focusing on American excellence in manufacturing and.
The tone was different.
Yeah, it was definitely a different vibe.
Different tone for sure.
As opposed to like, hey, we want to make all of our OEM partners happy. They didn't. There was very little OEM talk, either from Intel or AMD, frankly.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, a lot of that got pushed off onto the OEM, like
onto the OEM. 'Cause
yeah,
they all
yeah.
have keynotes too, right?
Yeah, so Lenovo had one of the biggest OEM keynotes, and Dr. Lisa Su and Jensen showed up to both of those.
Okay.
So, like,
Okay.
I think maybe that was a
the
little bit of a
distribution-
difference.
Because Computex is more like, hey, here's 3 or 4 big keynotes, and then it's like Supermicro has a keynote at Computex,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I think little changes. I mean, there's definitely internal changes happening in Intel. I will say the other thing was these were the X9, so the very top end of the stack. We did not get to test anything lower in the stack, and zero talk about Wildcat Lake, except for I did actually get to talk to some vendors.
Wildcat Lake meaning the N chip
Yes, the Celeron-ish, the really low power
Like
home lab kind of
lab,
mini PC device stuff, because I knew you were excited about it, so I did
So
poke
excited
around
about it, yeah.
and I actually did talk to a couple vendors who make like mini PC solutions, and they were like, yeah,
Hot.
this will be
But that's
what
later
you were
this year,
expecting.
right? I mean,
I actually don't know
because the
about
thing
them.
is, they launched those with I think Alder Lake like 6-7 years ago at this point.
Yeah, the N150 I think was Alder Lake.
Yeah, and they're really great because it's like really nice power in a 5 or 10 watt CPU, like total package and like a B-Link or Mini Swarm or whatever. So
Also, sorry, Wildcat, I keep seeing your question. Did they talk about the B770? No mention. There was
No
plenty,
graphics
plenty,
talk outside of the
discrete
cores,
graphic
yeah.
stuff. This is, I mean, listen, I don't know what's going to happen over there. My guess is that, like, it's been over a year since the B580. At this point, like that,
Everyone
would
was
feel
asking about
weird
it.
to-
Everyone was
yeah.
asking about it, but it didn't really strike me as the right show to announce that at, honestly.
I mean, also, I think it's late, right? Like, I think maybe they're just waiting for maybe something next. Also, I mean, to tell you the truth, this is because of the performance you're getting in this core count stuff. That's why they're comparing it to the low end discrete is that this starts to eat into that lunch anyway. I'm not saying this is a performance of a B580 or a theoretical B770, but they're putting a lot of effort into this, which is a good thing because this is where most Intel GPUs are, is an integrated graphic solution.
Yeah.
I will say that's another thing I wanted to bring up about this show is that one of the things that because we saw kind of an absence of solid desktop CPU and GPU news is this kind of like weird crossing the streams that I haven't really seen before, right? So like we have Intel that we just talked about, comparing, Panther Lake GPU, integrated graphics to discrete graphics, right? And then AMD didn't quite confirm it, but they didn't deny it either. They were like, yeah, maybe you could drop a mobile Ryzen part into a desktop socket. And
Which
everyone's
they've done
like,
before,
what?
yeah.
What? And I actually do wonder if that's the trend or like that's the direction we're going to see. That I hate to say this, but it's true. Like all of us here who are desktop enthusiasts are a minority. Like we are a very small minority at this point relative to how many people just use their phones or a laptop for most of their computing needs, right? So I actually do wonder if this is what we're going to see as like the trend, the way where they're going to take that low end and everything is just going to kind of drift into this direction where like laptop and desktop are the lines are much more blurred.
Look, 2026, the year of the squeeze. 2027, that's when we all learn to do BGA soldering so we can upgrade our RAM sticks.
I did
We
see
just
some
buy them,
reports already
yeah.
of somebody very I wouldn't say entrepreneurial, but very enterprising is the word I'm looking for, who is like, you know what, I'm just going to start salvaging RAM and then like, repurposing it for desktop. I think it was laptop RAM and repackaging it
So Wildcat, I think maybe is joking that B770 canceled confirmed. No, definitely not confirmed. It just, I think at this point, Like
Tap said it's still coming.
Arc is alive and well.
Yeah.
They're doing so much work. Yes, right now the focus is on mobile, but a theoretical desktop part will have those same benefits and essentially be scaling up from the mobile stuff anyway. So I who knows? Maybe internally Intel's like, okay, we really need to make sure the laptop stuff is just firing on all cylinders, and then maybe we get back to discrete stuff. I don't know.
That makes sense. That's the majority of their business right there.
Yeah. So and once again, I think if they ever come back to the desktop stuff, that all the work that has been happening on the laptop stuff will apply for sure.
Look, the number one story in my "You'll Also White Like This" feed on YouTube right now is Steve's, hey, AMD and NVIDIA abandoned this segment factory tour for the Intel Arc GPU. And that to me is saying, hey, they wouldn't do that kind of outreach, that PR outreach, if they were getting ready to kill discrete GPUs.
Yeah.
I think it's just a thing where, like I said earlier in the show, we are just going to be looking at much, much slower pacing than we've been used to in the last 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
We had really been enjoying, even with all of like the mining stuff and like the pandemic and all that, we had really been enjoying for the last decade so many hot and heavy releases just right on top of each other, that I think we've gotten used to this pace. And unfortunately, I think that we're going to see for a while that just kind of like screech to like a crawl relatively.
And who knows, maybe B770 was supposed to show up at CES, but under these conditions with RAM stuff, they're like, oh no, we gotta, this is not the place to launch it.
That's other things too, right? Like,
who knows?
What is the point? I mean, I don't mean there's no point to it, but like for them from a business perspective, is it going to be as feasible for them to launch these cards when PC builders and, hardware enthusiasts are more likely to be kind of pulling back on their own investment in the hobby?
That's it. The whole
it's a chicken egg problem, exactly,
right?
And also, once again, the low end is just getting better and better. Strix Halo, like Panther Lake, all that kind of stuff is just
that's not really low though. That's
not low end. Yeah. You know what I mean. And then also we got somebody in the chat that I do want to address. PB Panda Olfi said, is Intel not going to make GPUs anymore because of the whole NVIDIA investment? So that's actually why I did a video with Dr. Ian Cuttress, Tech Potato, because he did a mini rant on Twitter over the holiday break, and I was like, hey, you're going to be at CES? Can I interview you about this? So the video is actually... Ian is saying...
Got to read his tweets for you?
Yeah, no. Ian is saying everyone is completely wrong about this whole Intel NVIDIA announcement, that this is mainly data center. Like, maybe something comes out consumer related, but it'll
be a long time if it does.
But even then, he's just like, listen, where is the money right now? Like, this is not a gamer thing. So yeah, so it's coming out. He can explain it better than I am.
Is he accusing us of being self-centered?
You're so gamer,
exactly.
You probably think this whole trend is about you.
Yeah. So I think on that focus alone, I mean, Arc, I feel, is healthy as ever. Like, they're putting a lot of effort into it for sure. Unfortunately, us desktop people are not getting the fruits of it, but on the mobile side,
even with the chiplet design, like if Intel and NVIDIA immediately started working on a GPU, an NVIDIA GPU in Intel's SoC design, it's going to be 4 or 5 years before we even get like announcements that's coming, because that's like those products take a really long time to build. Like, those pipelines are deep and they work on them for years and years and years, and we just see the last 8% before they release that stuff.
And on the flip side, yes, obviously we know NVIDIA is trying to make a play for ARM based processors.
Yeah.
But when you can immediately scale up with x86 stuff, maybe that's on their roadmap as well. And at the same time, I don't think NVIDIA would then just drop their efforts for mobile GPUs either, just because they're working with Intel. So I definitely heard some weird chatter in the background of like, oh, NVIDIA and the low end stuff. I mean, they've got that DGX Spark. Could that apply in other places?
I mean, from talking to Tap at that thing in October, I feel like Intel has maybe finally learned their lesson that every time they kill the GPU, they lose an incredible, every time they kill a new GPU, it ends up setting them back 10 years, and it costs so much money to spin that back up again. I feel like they're actually going to stick with it this go round, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. So anyway, Intel Intel side note. Before I get too far, I meant to do this earlier. Something else we missed.
Huh?
I know Mike and I went to the Hype booth. There was nothing new per se. I noticed you got to see the cat thing. I took a photo because I was like, oh, they had a mod of their Y.
Oh, it was a perfect image for my newsletter. Thank you.
Perfect.
Really good PC. They also had their. I don't know if you got a chance to talk to them about their design stuff of their theoretical case that they'd never launched.
No, you're talking about, was it the X90?
Yeah. So
That's
it was
it. Yeah, that's the
interesting,
one.
to hear that kind of stuff. But really, what I walked away with was something in hand.
Oh.
Because remember how you forgot to tell me that the case that you got that came with a candle, and I was like, man, how did you not tell me
The
that
scented candle?
a scented thing? I brought that up, and they let me walk away with another variation. So this is what
That's like
came out with.
taro.
Yeah, so this is taro mix. So I don't know if
This actually probably be less offensive because, like, don't get me wrong, I appreciate that they sent me the limited edition wild cherry candle, but it's so strong. The scent is so strong.
this is very
But,
strong
like,
too.
try
but
this one
This
out.
is actually not too bad because even when you first handed it to me, I didn't like smell it immediately.
Worst 2025 trend continues.
It's actually Willis, you might want to
Yeah,
give this.
I saw-
it's
yeah,
actually
yeah.
pretty. It's actually really close to
gonna
the
let it
scent of
very-
like.
Luis
Yeah.
is
Like-
running right now as he sees you pull
actually,
those
Luis
matches
gave me
out.
these.
Oh God.
Like
So-
these really do smell like when you have
Yeah.
taro with coconut milk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
this
Yeah.
really smells like that.
It's a pleasant smell.
So at
It's actually
the
pretty pleasant.
yeah, so at CES.
Oh no! We're gonna set the sprinklers.
Actually,
What
no.
you
I'm
gonna do?
gonna,
Oh,
I'm
no.
gonna light it here.
There is fire, audio listeners.
okay.
There is fire.
I'm a fire warden.
Sprinklers don't work that way. It's just a smoke detector will go off, and then we'll have to
dear.
evacuate the building.
We've smoked this place up more than
Right.
than that.
Wow.
Oh, that's right. Sprinklers only work because the
Heat.
little glass.
If we
thing
hold that
ex-
up there,
yeah.
and then
it'll let
it
rip.
like
Don't
explodes
give them
the
that
glass,
idea.
and then the sprinkler turns on. Got it.
Anyways, so yeah,
This is
it
great.
actually smells really close to like when Adam brought it out, I was like, wait, do you have boba in your hand? Or why does it look like that? And then it turns out to be candle. I was like, it smells like
I mean,
a
it's
real
made
it
to
looks
look
like a
like
drink.
that. 'Cause
Will,
it's
don't touch
like,
it.
They have little. Look,
They have like little like
gelatin
jelly
bits.
things
Yeah.
that would look like ice in there.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And then I was able to talk to plenty of
Oh, I can
vendors
smell it now.
and try to listen. This smells good, right?
For a short period, there may
know,
be
I
a
know.
point where I'm just like,
But once again, I was trying to tell people, listen, all I'm asking is for gamers to maybe try to think about the scent of their home
No, thank
and
you.
the scent of themselves.
Unsubscribe.
And whether you do packings
Adam.
like this,
Adam.
or what if it was just integrated into the computer itself?
Adam, I'm being accused of having just a lawn chair in my living room.
Yeah.
Do you really
I
think I'm
didn't
going to
accuse you
actually?
of that. I just asked
I'm
you
just
a
saying, like, do you
question.
really think I'm going to be thinking about scented things if I don't even have
Think of how
furniture?
nice-
I know. That's
You
why
can-
the
look-
PC manufacturer is
Oh, no.
thinking about it for
Look,
you. It's
Elena-
included in the hardware.
You can get your $14 plastic chair, and you can put this on the floor
14.
in front of you.
It's San Francisco. I picked that thing up off the
Oh,
sidewalk.
okay. Sidewalk plastic chair. It's like a little crispy from the sun exposure, but it's fine still. And then you put the candle down, and you can just look at the candle and think, "Oh man, I've made good life choices."
The candle's on the floor, right?
On the floor, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Maybe a milk crate.
With-
Do they sell
maybe-
milk crates? Is that
No.
a thing?
Oh yeah.
Maybe I just had it on a paper towel just so it doesn't singe the floor. I do want my deposit back.
Fine. Or it's in the computer itself. You don't have to worry about it. It just
Yeah, just put the fire inside the computer.
No.
12-volt high power, that's
As
what
you
it's
for. Oh, my
game,
Lord.
it heats up. It heats
My
up the
goodness
place.
gracious.
The taro's hitting over the side right now.
Hey
I like
guys,
smells
Macworld
nice.
Podcast says, "Hey guys, Luis is freaking out about that candle, open flame and all."
He's coming in with
Yeah,
a
come
fire
on in.
extinguisher.
Come on
The fire
in. Fight.
extinguisher
Yeah,
blast.
I do-
that would be hilarious.
So I did like that Adam actually when he brought it out, it was on the casino floor and he's just like waving it like a sage, just like
I mean,
it's like,
'cause, yeah,
'cause, you
even
know.
not lit, it's
well,
pretty strong.
yeah, because I prefer that scent obviously over the casino floor smell. So yeah,
See?
thanks for that.
It's been
See?
so long since I've smelled casino floor. It's a good thing.
Yeah, you don't want
I mean, it's just cigarette smell. Yeah.
yeah,
Sweat
but,
and
cigarette
failure.
smell. A lot
Sadness.
of failure, a lot of sadness for sure, and sweat. Well, that's more in the trade show. Anyway, you were asking about handhelds. And
Yeah,
then you asked about,
no. What is the new one? Panther Lake handhelds.
Yeah.
I was like, it's something Lake.
guys are
Phantom
still
Lake,
kinda
Arrow
burned out, I
Lake,
see.
Meteor Lake,
Yeah,
Lunar
yeah,
Lake, Alder
so,
Lake.
I mean,
North Lake.
so I did see some handhelds. GPD was there. Minis
Yeah.
Forum was there. I got to see the 1X player. They have a Strix Halo tablet and handheld. The handheld just pretty much looks like the GPD one with the swappable battery and everything. But the big thing for them was they had a whole liquid cooling reservoir that would sit next to it and then plug in. You could hot swap the liquid cooling to allow by default on Air, which they do sell an Air only version, the Strix Halo goes up to I think 85 watts. But then when you plug in the external liquid cooling solution, it can go up to the full 120 watts for maximum power. Actually have a
You
video
just
over
drop
on
ice into the
PCWorld.
liquid bin. So
I mean, it's open. Yeah, you can
just pour some ice in there and let
you
it
can
rip.
Put whatever you want
seems
in
like
there.
it'd
I
get all
guess.
corroded up.
Yeah. Anyway,
And obviously, you put all of that in a backpack and you take it with you on the plane.
Yeah.
yeah,
Dedicated personal
yeah.
item.
See,
I don't know. I was a little
You're like, I need
curious about
I need
that.
I need 3 vodkas so I can pour in here and get the alcohol to water mixture right for the coolant. And yeah, no. I don't know,
Also,
man.
they announced the gaming version of Strix Halo. I did hold the actual chip itself.
It's not just
I think.
Strix Halo.
The gaming version, so it only has the full 40 GPU CUs. I know I'm ignoring you, but only 8 CPU cores because that's all you need.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they didn't have anything in the design.
Oh.
Like I was like, come on, like
Because
everybody's
everybody
excited
just
for
put
this
Strix
one.
Halo into it.
That
into
they
those
put the
designs.
full fat
Yeah.
16 core version.
Yeah, it's a $4,000
$395
handheld.
plus, and you're like, you don't need all that. I want the 40 CUs with the 8 CPU cores, but unfortunately, nobody was shown off there.
Did
either, so.
AMD have their Ryzen, their Strix Halo AI?
Yeah, their
box on the
reference
floor?
box.
Yeah.
You know what's weird? When I picked it up, I was like, this looks like the exact same dimensions as the NVIDIA Spark.
DGX? Yeah,
DGX
weird.
Spark, yeah. So
Like they're designed to stack on top
I
of
was
each other.
really actually okay. So we sat through all 2 hours plus. It was over 2 hours of that
Death
key.
March.
I actually saw the spirit escape your body a few
look,
times.
about
Like it took a break and it came back, and it took
yeah.
a break and it came back.
Look, when they were talking about generative AI video and they were like, this is going to be revolutionary, I was like, this looks like every other generative AI video I've ever seen. I was like, I understand when wolves chew their legs off to escape traps. I understand that now. I feel that wolf. The wolf is inside me. It's trying to escape right now.
or in the seminal horror classic Saw,
Yeah.
where
Oh,
Carrie
no, I don't
Elwes
wanna hear
saws
the
through the bone to
Yeah.
get out.
Yeah, if I had that ultrasonic knife, it would
Yeah,
be real
yeah,
easy.
then you would have been
I
fine.
don't do horror.
Set it
Wrap
to bone.
around, wrapping it
That's
around.
a callback, ladies and gentlemen.
Boom.
But that was actually one of the few exciting things for me during
It's the
that
only
keynote.
exciting thing.
Because I was like, ooh, mini PC that packs that much power?
And
I'm
actually,
interested.
the device itself was really nice. I mean, the thing is, there's other Strix Halo mini PCs
I
like
know.
out there,
Right.
but this one was a really nice design. Had a good texture to it.
My AMD keynote notes consist of, I can't believe they didn't talk about the 9850X 3D.
That's right. They left it to the side.
Didn't talk about that at all. I mean, it's fine.
It's just a higher binned
Could
9800
have just
XD.
said one line. Hey, we got a new thing for gamers.
It would have.
It's
It
not-
would have made the
yeah.
gamers happy.
No,
it wouldn't have.
No,
Actually,
that's impossible.
Yeah.
And they have a Strix Halo small form factor box. That
Yep.
makes sense.
Even if you feel it for a fleeting second, happiness is
And
happiness.
then 207 times they mentioned AI at least.
207. We actually counted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually counted. Intel was obviously a shorter presentation, but
Only 47.
But only 47.
Yeah.
Actually, I forgot to ask this in the last one. How did everyone feel about having the NVIDIA one be 2 separate streams?
I was a big fan because it meant I didn't have to watch the
I
first
watched
boring
both.
one.
You watched both.
As much as I could
Wow,
until the
okay.
Intel one started.
Yeah,
Actually,
okay.
yeah. I. Here we are. We're in trouble now.
Oh, we got Louis,
our office
facilities
manager's here.
He did it. It was Adam. That
fire
Adam.
Yeah,
his
who gave
fault.
me these matches? It was him.
So I actually did watch it, and I actually found it still interesting just to get better insight into what the priorities of the company are, and I don't know if it's time to quite segue into this because there's probably other things that like Mike hasn't had a chance to talk about in terms of things that we feel like we've missed, haven't talked about, but AI was mentioned so much, obviously. And I'm actually wondering if you guys saw anything there that actually made you interested for the applications of AI. Like, have you seen anything that actually made you think, oh, maybe this is actually going to work? Because so having watched this, right, the first half, and then watching the community update, at 9 p.m. later in the evening when they started talking about DLSS 4.5 and like G-Sync Pulsar, and then thinking about the interview that you had, like the Q&A session, where he was talking about how neural rendering is the future, and like that's where everything's going. I was like, okay, this makes sense. Like, we don't necessarily have to like what they're talking about, but they actually are investing in tangible results from this approach. And to me, that was very interesting in seeing how all of that was threaded together. So I think if I had only watched just the community update, I wouldn't necessarily have that same perspective. I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying it makes sense.
I enjoyed the comments from people about the AI stuff. People were generally like, it's funny watching that turn over the 2-ish years I've been here now doing this. And 2 years ago there was a lot of, oh man, this is really going to be cool, I'm really excited about this. And then this time it's like, no, this can all just burn. The highlight, the other highlight of the AMD keynote that I forgot was the healthcare segment, where there were 3 like healthcare CEO tech bros talking about how AI was revolutionizing their products, and one of them, the lead off was, "We're going to cure male baldness." And
I did notice
then the smash
that.
cut
And
to
you were
the
happy?
bald guy sitting right next to him, and everybody like Dr. Lisa Su and all the other 2 guys turn and look at this guy, and he's like,
Yeah, it was.
I'm
It
too
was.
big
It
drunk for
was.
audio listeners.
It was a very like, ooh, I don't think that was rehearsed moment.
Yeah, no, they didn't realize when they were thinking about what they were going to talk about, they didn't really work out.
Also, yes, it was very interesting, the things that they seemingly conflated, like they put on the same level with each other.
One guy was like, "Hey, we're really good at finding tumors and curing cancer," and the other guy was like, "Male pattern baldness, nailed it."
I don't remember. Is it? I actually think that's the same guy who also actually talked about like getting more data for like women's health at the same time. Like they actually mentioned that too.
That was very much an, oh, by the way. It was like, we also care about women too. We're looking at all sorts of lady issues.
Yeah. I know plenty of women.
Yeah. It was
I got
really-
binders full of women.
It was really. That was a very interesting.
it was
that
great.
was not rehearsed moment.
It was.
And to be very fair, I'm trying to remind people this is not AMD's fault. When you are the opening keynote of CES, CTA has to make sure that you are showing.
It did not always be. It was not always. that way.
I know. But like I'm sure CTA went to AMD and was like, "Hey, do you want the opening keynote? Awesome. Well, guess what? You need to make sure that you talk about automotive healthcare, all the stuff that CES covers. Like I and who knows? I don't know for sure.
When I went to the Linus Torvalds
conjecture.
keynote in like 2006 or something, he just talked about how rad Linux was and how much Microsoft could get bent.
Well, but was that the opening keynote?
Yeah.
That was the headlining keynote.
The headlining keynote
Well,
was.
that's
It
weird.
used to be Bill Gates,
But not,
and then
not
it was
anymore.
Linus.
Yeah. So I don't.
Once they didn't ask him back.
I don't
Really?
blame. I don't
I'm
blame
shocked.
AMD for all that stuff. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, so I was kind of curious because you actually got to see products, right? So what Will and I were most exposed to from having done the live streams was the theoretical application.
Propaganda.
Yes, I actually would say it was. It started to feel very much like in that vein.
Yeah.
There were a couple of moments where one of the medical AI, CEO or execs mentioned something about more like customized medicines, and that genuinely excited me because it's like, I mean, all of us probably have had an experience of taking a generic medicine that didn't work for us the way that a brand name version or even vice versa did, because all of our bodies are different. We respond differently to the inactive ingredients, and the medical establishment is still swearing up and down like, well, it's the same for everybody. It's the same active ingredient. It should be the same, That was interesting to me. I think for me, what's more concerning still, and it's kind of a side tangent of the whole, like, I really don't want AI making decisions for us. I don't really want AI collecting data that humans are making decisions on where they're not able to verify the data, stuff like that. But it does seem like there could be applications, using this medical example, where it is quite potentially exciting.
One of the big shifts watching the keynotes was previously when they would talk about the kind of new frontiers of AI beyond the healthcare stuff, there was clapping from the audience. And this time either they weren't mic'd appropriately, but it looked like the audiences were dead silent when the ChatGPT guy was standing up talking about how he was using ChatGPT to make child rearing decisions and healthcare decisions for his baby and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
nobody clapped
God,
for
he said
that.
it on stage.
he said it on stage.
Yeah.
Well, which is also weird because usually these keynotes have plants in them to make sure
Yeah.
clapping happens. So if you're saying you
Yeah.
didn't hear any of them,
No.
that's kind of funny.
And, like,
It was
they-
wild.
And they gave an example too, where they were saying like, "Oh, it's like saved this person's life because they." And
Did not seem like life-saving advice for
I mean,
what it's worth.
but here's the thing too, though. That was more, I think, an example of just bad medical care
Yeah.
than it was AI necessarily being heroic. Like, yes, it's good that you were able to look at information that said, "Hey, maybe you should just go back and get checked out again."
Is this more of a scathing indictment on the U.S. healthcare system
Yeah,
than
that's what it really
no
felt
AI
like,
rules?
honestly.
Yeah.
It was like, he got seen at, I think, was at the ER or urgent care, and they're like, "Oh, it seems fine. Just do this," and then
Then they had blood clots or something.
And then something like they're like, "Oh, it doesn't still feel right." So they looked it up on, in a chatbot, and the chatbot's like, it could be this. And they went back and, insisted on getting, checked out for that. It turns out, yeah, they did have like a deep blood clot somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I think the topic of AI can go really deep, and I know we've been talking about maybe having a follow-up kind of thing. But yeah, real quickly, Mike, did you see anything AI related that you wanted to speak about at CES?
Well, before we go deeper, I think it's important to note that there's been I think a very deliberate obfuscation of the term AI, artificial intelligence, to apply to everything that's language learning, everything that's certain types of models. And it isn't the same. Like when it comes to research, when it comes to computing huge amounts of data that like normal humans just cannot fit in their brains, what we are now calling AI, what they used to call machine learning, has incredible applications that can be helpful to millions and millions of people. And that's a wonderful thing. When it comes to just trying to replace human jobs, when it comes to trying to replace artists, replace the things that people are good at doing, I'm far more skeptical. I am a on-the-record hater for a lot of things. Yeah. So I've got two examples from the show. One of them isn't even technically from the show. It was after the show when I'm doing my expense report. So when they send us to CES, our company pays for it all. They pay for our tickets. They pay for our hotel rooms. They pay for our meals. But we still have lots of documentation that we have to go through. The new system that we've got, the new system that we've got now lets you take a photo of a receipt and it fills in all the information. And it's gotten really good at it. Like even if you've got a tip that you add onto your meal, it knows to look for the final handwriting that you put in, and that's the number it wants. It's great. It has saved me literally hours on a very complicated part of my job. Wonderful. It still isn't perfect. I still have to go through and manually check everything because sometimes it can't tell the difference between a meal receipt and a cab receipt, that sort of thing. It sees, oh, this company is based out of somewhere on another continent, even if they own the cab that is picking me up and sending me around. So I have to correct that. So it is fundamentally helping me do my job in that sense. The first day I was on the show floor, it was a part of it called Eureka Park, which is where smaller companies that are just trying to make connections with people go there. Very, very small booths come in there and spending still a lot of money, but a tiny fraction of what even a booth on the main part of the floor would be. I saw somebody who was selling digital payment access to bathrooms. That was their niche. They sold pay toilet technology. It's actually fascinating if you go into the dynamics of whether you pay to go to the bathroom or not. But whatever, that's what they were supplying. Great. Yeah. I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. It works for different people in different places. There's different reasons to do it or not do it. What I saw at the back of their booth is a auto-generated photo of the Rat Pack, a very famous group of American singers from the mid-20th century, with Frank Sinatra walking down the street in Las Vegas and holding his crotch because he has to go to the bathroom.
That's amazing.
Classy.
Yeah.
So classy.
It's
You know
true.
that
I
isn't real?
was next to Mike. Yeah.
Are you sure that wasn't real?
I'm
I'm sure he had that
If
situation.
you want
at
to
some
see
point.
it, Mike actually took a
It's
photo
on the
and
blog.
posted it
Yes.
to our live blog coverage at CES. It's in
Wow.
there. I believe you
And just-
titled it as "I don't want to live on this planet anymore."
Yeah,
here's the thing. Do you think that really, if they had paid an illustrator and they were like, "Hey, we want an illustrator that looks like Frank Sinatra has to go wee really bad," do you think that that the artist would have said, "Oh no, I'm not going to. That's in poor taste. I'm not going to do that"? Or do you think this is like, yeah, sure, they took a human illustrator's job, but also, I don't know where I'm going with this, but this seems terrible on all fronts. I can't even make it funny. I'm sorry.
It was another one that was perhaps less just like goofy. I went to the Razer booth, and this is something that they've talked about publicly. They have their new Project Ava. They've been working on it for a couple of years, or at least had something to show for a couple of years. The new one they have is a little like mini faux hologram, a little girl in a jar, for lack of a more precise term. Yeah, they have a hunky guy too, but it is the one that they were putting front and center that they had like a full-scale replica of just for promotional purposes.
Oh, dear.
Was very much an anime waifu kind of setup. And I was like, all right, you can tell her to look at your game and what's going on. And they had it set up in a sort of Google Home kind of context where she's all around your house and you talk to her all day long. I'm like, all right, that's mildly creepy. And then they told me, oh yeah, we've got it connected to Grok. Which, if you're not familiar, is the corpse of Twitter, the XAI connected to X that they put through. And like, seriously, you're telling me this, and this is something that you've announced publicly? Yeah, we're agnostic about what LLM users can plug into it. Well, yeah, but you've plugged it into Grok, and they said yes. You understand that just last week Grok did some pretty freaking horrible stuff. And I'm not going to go into the more political side of this. It's like, yeah. And I said to the representative, are you comfortable with this showing up in a Razer product? Like, there's Razer's logo right on the front of this, right at your anime girls, like very stylish heels. You're okay with that? And he's like, well, that's obviously something that we've considered. And they just kind of tripped over it for a while. I was like, yeah, this is a problem on their end that they need to fix. Like, it's your product, man. It's your name's on it. If that's what you want to put in front of me and try to sell me, that is something I'm extremely concerned about.
I'm sorry, Mike. I don't think you're the target audience for this.
So for audio listeners, I can't even adequately describe the look on Adam's face as he was listening to Mike recount this experience that Mike had. But all I can say is how I would summarize it is it's the look on the face of a person who has attended many anime conventions in the past and definitely is envisioning the exact target audience for this and probably what they would be doing with it.
I did also talk to the PM who offered me the walkthrough, and I was like, no, I'm good.
You didn't want the full experience?
We had a good chat. It was a good chat.
Yeah, and to be clear, they seem intent on making this a consumer product. They are taking pre-orders right now. They're not saying how much it'll cost. They're not going into all the details, but they seem to want to get this out the door before the year is over.
They've done like this. That's classic Razer, though. They had a bunch of products over the years that they've rolled out at CES, been like, hey, we're taking pre-orders. It's going to be a big deal.
They actually had a separate one for this CES. This wasn't there. Yeah, they actually had a wearable headset, kind of like my glasses, that had cameras and did essentially the same stuff.
This is when they said the AI in your ears is going to be better than the AI in your eyes.
No, but you should build them for that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? You weren't there.
This oral AI is going to be so good, you're going to just gouge your own eyes out.
We had a good laugh. So Dan, our freelance shooter that was walking around with me, he was like, I can't remember how it got brought up, but somebody was like, oh, and hey, if you're wearing your headphones, maybe walking around like CES and you don't recognize somebody, you can have them, discreetly tell you.
It's great.
And Dan was like, oh, what? So you're gonna walk up to someone and be like, hey, Grok, who is this?
Yeah, hey, Grok, who dat?
And then you just like sit there and stare until it tells you, and they're like, oh, hey, good to see you again. So it was pretty funny.
Have these people never learned the trick of bringing somebody who doesn't know the people with you so that you just very gracefully get refreshed on everyone's names?
Okay, no. So Gordon was my wingman for this for years.
Yeah.
Gordon was great about
this.
No.
See, in the old days, he was terrible at it because he would be like, oh yeah, I totally, like he would just not ask the introduction question. So he'd be like, I'd be like, oh, hey, why don't you meet my friend Gordon, blah, blah, blah. And then he'd be like, oh, I'm Gordon. And then just nothing. He would never get the.
He was terrible at
No,
it.
he was terrible.
He
at
was
it.
not a good wingman.
No, he was an awful wingman.
Oh, you had to teach him, huh?
I didn't. I wasn't probably very good at either at that point. So
It's a whole thing, but to tell you the truth, I'm really good with faces. I'm bad with names, and I was like, actually, I kind of want that technology, but I don't want to shout it at their faces. I walk
Rock,
up, but
who that?
Yeah, or hey Meta or anybody.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Creepy.
So hey, that is one potential use case that I would use AI for if I could have my glasses whisper in my ear.
But
who
also,
the person
doesn't that
was.
doesn't that rely on a bunch of surveillance
yeah.
information?
I was thinking, I was trying to come up with ways I could make your glasses more creepy. And hey, congratulations, there we are.
Listen, the amount of cameras that were on during any CES booth or room or show floor is millions.
Did
so.
you see anybody
It's
with
one thing for the cameras to be on. It's another for all the information to be in some kind of centralized database so that an AI can access it and identify
I'm
somebody.
sorry, it's already there.
There's
For a common person, for an everyday person.
Yeah, we're
that
not
is
all tapped into Palantir.
terrifying. dude.
No, people were running.
It's funny
some
that
of stuff.
you should mention that. A friend of mine has been trying to get me to read this book called The Dream Hotel for months. Came out last year. It's I think it's really good. It's got a lot of like 1984 things going on. But I listened to it on audiobook over the trip, and I happened to be finishing it up on the show floor the very last day I was there, walking around seeing like, oh, this is a total health care monitor for your toddler. This is like, infrared cameras that are looking in 8 different directions outside your house. I'm like, huh.
They were scanning
this
people
is actually
in real
way
time.
more prescient than I thought it was.
They were scanning. There was one booth that was scanning people in real time and like
That's
displaying
terrifying.
information. And I mean, listen, you show up. It's kind of like one of those things where at a trade show, it's like, oh, hey, you step beyond this zone and all your rights are waived.
That's the whole trade show.
Yeah,
but was anybody selling like infrared hats or glasses that do IR blasters in the non-visible ranges to blow out cameras? Did you see any of that stuff?
Ooh.
I mean, I barely
did
got on
not
the
see
show
anything
floor.
like that.
That's a good
what I
idea,
want.
though. Yeah.
I did not see any anti-surveillance personal technology, and I have suddenly
I'm
become
sure
much
it
more
was
interested
there.
in
Yeah,
that.
I'm sure it was there. In terms of AI use, I mean, listen, I like AI features as it relates to games, upscaling, frame gen, all that kind of stuff. That's a version of AI. I am all on board on that kind of stuff. Like, so it was more and more prescient. Intel did talk more about their solution, Tap. I mean, I was actually supposed to have another interview with Tap. The scheduling got mixed up, so maybe we'll get him on the podcast again. So, like, if we want to talk about that use, cool. Definitely. Outside of that use, I guess the other thing too, which I mean we've seen before too, is that especially Intel, I mean AMD with Strix Halo, all that kind of stuff is like more and more you have the hardware that you need to run things locally, and we're trying to enable ease of use of this. So it's actually one of the things I had an interview with Andre from AMD. He's kind of like the head of software. So I wanted to specifically interview him about FSR and all the stuff that's happening over there. It's already up on PCWorld's YouTube channel. You can go check. I pressed him hard on Linux support, all that kind of stuff. And then at the end, he was like, hey, listen, here's something that I think gamers will be interested in. I had a hard time relating to it.
How do you do, fellow kids?
I mean,
one of those?
so no, it's in I think starting January 21st. I don't know which version of the Adrenaline software, but when you go to install the new Adrenaline software, there will be a check mark. It's optional. They tell me it's off by default, but it's a check mark.
Sounds like it's gonna be a great feature.
To say, oh hey, download the AI bundle. It's some sort of AI bundle. So essentially, you know what Intel did with
it's
the
like
AI
the Intel
Playground?
and the thing that NVIDIA did that stopped working on the 5090s, 50 series cards.
I don't know about that, but yeah. So it's essentially it's optional in the driver. You check mark it. He's recommending. He's saying, hey, listen, everybody already uses some form of version of AI with ChatGPT or whatever. You as a gamer probably already have the hardware to run this stuff, maybe a 9070 XT and a 9800 X3D. Click this optional install for the AI bundle. It installs PyTorch and installs like just a bunch of back-end stuff. Yeah. What you need to then do stuff locally in an easy way. And I did ask him, I was like, hey, listen, I have not installed my own local version of stuff and trained data on that stuff. How easy is it to use? And he was like, "Oh yeah, a noob can use it. I am curious. I probably will try it out just for science to see actually how easy it is to use for somebody who's never done that." So there was definitely more and more talk of local stuff because now we've got the hardware. I think if you're going to try to do things like that, the local is the better option. And yes, we do actually have a lot of the hardware to run it. You don't have to rely on ChatGPT if you're trying to do more sensitive stuff, So
I mean, DeepSeek runs on a 1080, right? You can do
Yeah. So I'm not saying that it was like my favorite AI talk of the show, but it was definitely like, oh, okay. I think now more than ever we do have avenues to do stuff locally and don't have to rely on stuff in the cloud. So anyway. And yes, AI was literally everywhere.
Yarp.
Okay, let's move over to viewer Q&A. We've been going for 2 hours. Whew, I didn't realize there was this much
that's
more
what I mean.
of CES to talk about.
You actually had a really long show last week. It was like 2.5 hours.
And I feel like there was stuff that we're even missing.
And there was
now.
stuff that you were missing.
Yeah.
I was funny because I actually had evening plans that night, and I ended up running late because I had figured you guys would be done by 7-ish, 2 hours at most, and then you ran another 40 minutes, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah. So Q&A, if you got any questions, specifically, I'm trying to keep them to CES. Maybe we'll have an all Q&A thing next week because news is probably going to be light post CES. So CES related questions, get them in now into the chat at the Full Nerd Network so we can see them. If you're watching this or listening to this later, go into the link in the description. It should be a correct link that now lets you go over to the Full Nerd Discord. We have opened it up. It is searchable. Even if you don't want to use the link in the description, you can go over to Discord and theoretically search for the Full Nerd Network, and it'll appear somewhere.
I think it does now. I tried to change our settings. So that we're
So
visible now.
it technically is searchable. Have you tried? Anyway,
I'm going to Discover right now.
Okay, Discover and search for
It
Full
was
Nerd.
weird for a while because there was actually a requirement of a certain amount of active users
Maybe because you're
per
already in
week to be searchable or discoverable. But I think they might have changed those requirements, so that's why we were never set for it before.
Yeah. Anyway, get your questions in the full TFN questions channel. You got to scroll down a little bit. We have a TFN questions. If you have any Linux related questions, put them in DBD questions. We'll talk about it in Doable Diaries. Anyway, first question, we kind of just covered this, but it's a little bit of a unique spin on it. Friend of the show, Devonish, asks, with the exception of marketing materials and a few major players profiting off of big AI, what was the general vibe on the CES floor around AI this year? Are other vendors showing positivity, resentment, or using new vocabulary to describe compute? Mike, any thoughts on this one?
Well, I didn't see this myself specifically, but I thought Dell going out just publicly and saying, hey, our customers don't care about AI in their computers. If they want it, it's out there and they can find it. Most of them are using browser tools anyway, so it's not something that we need to really focus on in terms of our computer lines. That was good to hear because, yes, I absolutely agree with that. It was remarkably upfront from a major company. Between that and their very public walk back of the XPS decision, the whole thing was refreshing to come from a big company. Other than that, almost everything I saw that you could even legitimately call AI on the show floor was just our thing talks to ChatGPT, our thing talks to Claude for something.
Well, I think they're asking specifically of the vibe. What were people saying? Were people loving AI? Were people hating AI?
The thing is, on the show floor, the amount of people who are media versus the amount of people who are just there for exhibitors or businesses is tiny. It's very much an industry show, and we are getting the bits and pieces that we find interesting and that we hope you find interesting and trying to present it to you. So I'd say that not only would it be very difficult for me, just as a little guy walking around with 100,000 people on the show floor, to get a general vibe, I don't think it would be very useful because I'm skeptical. I couldn't tell you how skeptical everyone else looking at all this other stuff is. There's definitely a fatigue for AI. If I saw on more than one occasion, somebody was walking up and talking to an exhibitor and the exhibitor would say, oh yes, we do AI. they were like, what does that mean? What is the feature? What does it do for me? And I'm glad to hear that, because people are no longer taking, oh, we have AI as just a face value thing. No, tell me what it does. Tell me how it's useful to me.
I
think
ran
that's a
into that
certain
as
amount
well.
of, yeah, I think there's a certain amount of savvy to that people are getting accustomed to, that I think is encouraging.
Did you all see AI attached to products that absolutely are not AI? Like I remember seeing, like, you know how HD got really popular for a while, and you'd see toothpaste with HD sparkle.
Yeah.
Have we reached that phase yet? In the
I feel like we've already been there, where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a function that you already had. Now you're just
you just
rebadging
called
it as AI. Yeah.
The feeling I had during the keynotes on the Monday was that we literally, I could feel the moment we went over the hump at the peak of anticipation for this technology, and we started diving down toward the trough of disillusionment. And I feel like that happened about midway through the AMD keynote this year.
I mean, you got to remember, vendors, when they're showing you stuff, be it in our lane or in other lanes, they have to show at least some sort of excitement for it. So
Yeah.
so cutting through and talking people like a little bit more realistically about it, I will say I had plenty of those conversations, and people were just like, yeah, we're done with this
Did they
stuff
say
as
we're
well.
cooked? Did anybody say cooked?
No cook.
Okay,
It just
okay, that's good.
I think like he said, just fatigue, just being
Okay.
like, oh my god,
Well,
we got to
I
do
think,
this again.
So here's the problem too. I feel like, and we see it in multiple industries. I think it's probably because we're human. Is that I think companies get very nervous about being the only one not to do a thing, so they scramble to
Oh,
try
yeah.
to sound contemporary, and not nobody, but there's a decent portion of those companies that don't want to even be doing it, but they're doing it so they can at least seem, because they're worried about looking not relevant, looking outdated.
I mean, it's
why
a
we-
whole
it's why we
business
s-
strategy
Well, that's why
tapping
we
into this,
see things
right?
go in trends, right? Like,
Yeah.
like even in video games, like there was the period where everyone had like a bow and arrow in their game, and then there's like another time where everyone had quick time events in their games, and like it just goes in these waves and these cycles, and everyone gets on board, and then everyone gets off.
And like this when I was running the VR company, this happened a lot. Like I'd get a call from like Woodford Reserve Bourbon, and they'd be like, "Hey, we would love for you to pitch a VR
I'm in.
experience for us." And I was like,
in.
Let's go,
Bourbon, baby.
Yeah. So, but like it became clear when you talk to these people that their entire goal of having you come in and paying you what to you was a large amount of money and to them was inconsequential was, oh yeah, when the board asks me what our VR strategy is, I need to have an answer. And there's a lot of that, I think, right?
100%.
But
Yeah.
I mean, there's a certain amount of that, just things going in trends and peaks and troughs and stuff. We're also talking about an industry that's gobbled up, what, $10 trillion worth of investment now? So yeah. The thing is, when this trend ends, if it ends, I mean, obviously the technology that they're putting into these large language models, into this machine learning, is being integrated into more and more things. And there are ways to do that are important and useful. But also, when the shine comes off of all the generative tech, and they're like, all right, maybe not 10 trillion, maybe 5 trillion, maybe 1 trillion is what we need to invest in this, then what happens? Oh boy.
I mean, it's going to be, I think, just kind of volatile for a while, because I think generative AI was the buzz for a while, and now we're moving to, I always mispronounce it, agentic AI.
Agentic.
Thank you. And that's actually slightly, for me, as my normal beat, obviously for PCWorld, is security. That's actually more terrifying for me.
Yes.
Just because not really sure how that's going to play out. So yeah, positive note.
Yeah. Lots of AI talk. I mean, yeah.
Everything's great, is what I'm hearing.
It's different depending on
Keep
who
on
you're talking
keeping
to,
on.
but there are plenty of people who are like, heck yes, we're making money. Let's keep going. So, yeah. Here's a deeper one. I want to give a little bit of time to, but I don't know. Should we have Brad here for the sponsored one? Now that I think about it,
We could, but I mean, both Will and I could actually speak pretty
True.
in depth in it as well.
Yeah,
Not to cut
yeah.
Brad out of it. So it's your call.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, this is a good question. We can maybe talk. What you don't think we should wait for Brad? Or?
I should wait. I would wait for Brad on,
okay.
on talking about sponsored content.
Okay, it's good video, or a good question. Spectre will come back to you. So, a friend of the show, Retro Sean, asks, with NVIDIA's new dynamic frame generation, is there a floor? That is, does it go as low as 2x, or is it actually possible to generate only a handful of frames along the lines of 1.25 or 1.5x? Really good question. If you have been not catching the news, I guess we didn't say it specifically, but NVIDIA announced with DLSS 4.5, multi-frame gen now goes up to 6, so one rendered frame and then up to 5 generated frames. They also had a frame rate target now that you can set, which is what we all wanted kind of at the launch. We were like, oh man, why am I blowing past 120 when my screen only does a 120?
Yeah.
So I actually, once again, Brad was there. He took the appointment, so I don't know the logistics of that. But this is a good question I had too. I was like, okay, well then, say you're like, you give it a frame rate target of 120. You're able to get 90 of them already, and you just want to, add on that extra frame gen to get to smoothness, maybe a little bit more smoothness, hit the refresh rate of your TV, but it's not within the multiplier of 2, 4, that kind of thing. Does it actually do a portion of that? I actually don't know. I don't know what they're using. Does anyone know how they're doing
They didn't talk about it at all. In the stuff that I saw.
So maybe Brad knows.
I haven't read anything about it yet.
Maybe we'll come back to that one.
I was kind of waiting on Digital Foundry to talk about it, to be honest.
I think they have a video up. I haven't watched it, but
the whole thing felt like the old Onion article about screw it, we're putting on 6 blades or whatever.
Yeah. Gordon used to love mentioning that as option, as a reference.
Yeah, so it's very much in that vein to me. Like, I feel like 4 is good. If you need more than 4, then what are we doing with monitors? I don't know, man. I mean,
options like up to 6, meh. My TV where I do most of my gaming, or even on the handhelds, pretty much max out at 120. I guess I have a couple that go to 144, but for the most part, if I can hit a stable 60 without any sort of frame gen and then be able to get the extra added smoothness, I'm okay adding it on top of it, but I'm usually trying to hit a target. I don't think that target's ever going to be 6x.
I don't think those drivers, last time I looked, I don't think those drivers were out yet. They may be now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I think those are coming, not out, was my understanding.
Without having any kind of expert knowledge in it, my guess would be that it's something like, when you have a 1080p stream and you have a 4K stream, and if you try and hit somewhere in the middle of that, it just kind of looks like crap because they're adapting different things to it. I'm guessing that would be it. Like, there's not a whole lot of difference in terms of computing and resources between a 1.25 modifier for the frame gen and a 2 modifier for the frame gen, so you might as well just step it up if you want that much anyway. That would be my guess, and I could be completely off there.
Yeah, the thing that they're doing with the perspective warping on the, right before they take the generated frame and then they take the mouse input and they perspective warp the generated frame and fill in the dead spaces on the items with the AI generated pixels, has worked incredibly well at 4X for me, even playing with the mouse and keyboard, which is not the case for the previous generation of generated frame gen or other people's implementations of frame gen for my testing.
And also on older hardware, like the 50 series definitely benefits from that too.
But the 40 series doesn't have multi-frame gen. It's only 50 series is multi-frame gen.
Oh, I know, but the flip metering and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So even on 2 times, like 40 series had 2 times.
In the frame shift. I didn't know that. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't actually know. I don't know how we need to test it.
Yeah.
Is the TLDR.
Also, Gentlestone makes a little comment of, I really appreciate how Tap called it frame smoothing. And yes, I think, sure, there's a lot of people even in the chat right now who are like, I'm never going to use it. I actually I use it plenty of times, and yes, I don't think of it as performance. It is smoothing out the visuals.
Reducing the micro stutter. I'll say if the first time I notice a performance problem in a single player game, I flip the switch on it, and I'm never ever going to turn it on in a multiplayer game. Yeah.
Okay, we do have some. Willis, you had a question?
I had some
chats too,
and we got super chats. Yeah,
and sorry. I had some. So I say some questions from last episode at the trade show. Didn't get a chance to say them. Let's see. We got a friend of the show, Lewis Law, asked. Actually, so we have CES best picks, but do we have CES worst picks?
iFixit had really good worst picks They made a video. Actually, I got to chat with them at PepCom.
Oh, nice.
And they had like a little bingo sheet kind of thing.
Okay.
And they were alluding to the fact that they were going to have the video coming as well.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that is something that people commented to us during the live streams, that we didn't have a bingo card this time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Gordon loved those bingo cards.
It would just been all AI squares, though.
So, I mean, like, I guess, what would you pick on a theoretical? Off the top of your head, anybody got a theoretical worst pick?
All the mentions of AI.
Yeah, that one's easy.
Anything that yeah, well, go ahead, Mike.
I would say that there's a definite rush towards like smart glasses right now, and I don't mean the ones that we've had the last few years. I mean with actual displays in the lens that let you do stuff. And it's cool. I've been waiting for that kind of technology for over a decade. And as cool as it is to be able to see through a display, it's not there yet. The best thing that I saw was just kind of junky. And I'm not going to mention like any particular companies by name. I don't want to call them out. It's all very early tech, but I can't see anything that I would want to use on a regular basis that was a full integrated display in my glasses. And that's something I want. It's just not there yet.
That's actually really fascinating for me to hear you say, because I was actually hanging out with a friend this past weekend, and he actually had gotten a pair of glasses like that because he wanted to have it as like, I don't know, like a backup, as just like cool kind of fun thing to have when like traveling. And so he was like trying out the app for like real-time translation. And I mean, he was trying it with like very basic like Japanese phrases, and so it was able to handle that. But just seeing it, like he had me try it, and just seeing it come up across the screen in real time was really quite I don't know if I would use the word exciting for me, but it was like, oh, like that's interesting. I would like to see where it goes. But for him, like he was super excited. So I almost wonder if this is like a gulf between us jaded tech journalist types and like, you know, the general populace.
I think it also depends use case, because like if we travel somewhere to like Taiwan, I would love to see a real life translation kind of thing. Maybe in Pinyin, it's, you know, showing me how I can respond back. Or the other thing, friend of the show, Jeff from Craft Computing, he had one of the earlier ones. Not that he said it was like awesome or anything, but he used to do his script for his videos, for his YouTube videos, to be like, you know, so, smart. But that's not for everybody, right? I mean, that's very much a little use case. And still, like to Mike's point, the technology is not quite there yet.
I saw the video of the LG clothes folding robot, the one that loads and unloads the washing machine and dryer for you.
Nice clothes.
And because like just so you know, there's been
those crows?
There's been a wild surge of funding for household robots that do things like fold and wash your laundry for you.
Single-use robots,
yeah. Unload and load the dishwasher or wash your dishes, stuff like that. In the valley, and the clothes folding is a really hard problem because like you're dealing with soft body objects that like the cameras can't look at and identify what they are necessarily. They don't really have defining characteristics. Everybody has bespoke clothing. It's all different sizes and shapes. So like just the act of, and also grabbers have problems with those soft objects. So like I was looking at this, I was like, wow, this is the best one of these I've ever seen. And then I showed it to my wife, was like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So it was the inverse of the experience you guys had with the glasses. Because I was like, oh, this is really neat. They finally cracked, like now they just have to make it good. Now they've done the hard part.
That's funny.
And they just have to make it good. My wife was like the least impressed I've ever seen when I've showed her something from like a technology thing. So like, that is stupid. It is so slow. No one's ever going to use that. Why would anybody spend money on this? How much does it cost?
I don't know. I think there are actually a lot of people that would.
I think so. I hate folding clothes more than any other household chore. It is my least favorite thing to do.
Funny.
Well, I also think too, I understand her perspective, but I also think that it's like one of those things where people who have no problems with the task or have no problems with flavor or, you know, texture or whatever, they're always like, who would ever, like, so this is kind of random, but like I was just recently reading, like somebody was talking about like sports bras that have like removable pads, right? And there's like this whole contingent of women who are like, who would ever want this? And then there's a whole other contingent of women who are like, stop trying to take it from us. If you don't want these, go buy ones that they're already like sewn in. And so I think it's like one of these things with the robots, right? Where it's like somebody who has no problems with, like for me, I don't really use a dishwasher because, you know, like
Because you hate the environment and you like to use too much water.
I guess so. I guess so. But like the thing is, it also doesn't really make sense for me to like, for the amount of dishes I use, to like wait that much time for a full dishwasher. You know what I mean? So there's like, but I don't mind doing dishes. That's the thing. I don't mind doing dishes. For somebody else, absolutely. They like love having a dishwasher for, you know, obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And I think it's the kind of same thing with these kind of household tasks. But again, I'm in your camp, so I'm more excited about things like this because, like, how many times have we said we would prefer AI to do menial tasks for us,
Like our expenses.
Yeah, and not take over things, the stuff that we want to do, like write and create art and, you know, be complex human beings doing interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Beakerman says in the chat, friend of the show, said, I washed my clothes last week. They're still in the dryer.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing.
That's pretty
Just
funny.
waiting for a robot to fold your laundry.
I just want the robot fluff and fold service, okay?
Yeah. I have a couple
Okay, what
that
you
I'm
got, Adam?
willing to name.
Yeah.
The first one is that Project Ava from Razer. I'm sorry. Yeah.
The creepy robot?
Yeah, that I don't want any of that. That seems like a waste of Razer's time. Like, yeah. So, yeah, for me, that was one of the worst of the show. Like, one of the things where I was like, oh, I actively do not want to take this demo. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
There's a tawdriness to CES for history reasons we don't need to really get into sometimes that always sucks in my experience. Like, it's always just the creepiest business you've ever seen. So anyway.
I'm just thinking, like of the meetings I went to, I'm thinking of things that I was like, nope, please move on. Another one was we went to Lenovo. For those who don't know, Motorola is owned by Lenovo. They showed off actually their first folding phone. I was really hot on that. But they also had this little AI pin thing, which was kind of
Are those still a thing?
Yeah.
I thought they got rid of.
I mean, it wasn't
those all
exactly
died
like
out.
that. It wasn't exactly like that, but it was one of those things where I was like, no thanks.
Wait, is it a pin? It looks like a whistle that you wear around your neck. What was it?
Well, yeah, maybe it wasn't a pin. Maybe it was a
looked like a
necklace thing.
yeah.
I don't, the mechanism, nah, and then the use case, I was like, nah. So yeah, I'm just trying to think of like appointments I went to that I was just like, nope, just not interested. And it was mostly that.
Was there any like portable mobility stuff? Did you have any like shoes with wheels on them or anything good like that this year?
Oh, there was was it you or Brad who saw like the robotic leg
The legs.
thing?
Oh no, we saw plenty of the leg stuff. Yeah.
There were several of the exoskeleton things that I was personally interested in because my grandmother's getting to the point where she finds it very, very difficult to get out of a chair. She can move around just fine when she gets on her feet, but like that last bit when you're getting out, takes her a long time sometimes. I was looking around very intently at those.
I'm more interested in can you like crush cinder blocks with your legs now because your legs are so strong?
Everyone's Chung-Li all
You
of a
want the
sudden.
Iron Man stuff?
Yeah, I want like murder exoskeleton, not.
Well, I mean, I think
assistive great, I guess. Whatever.
I mean, I think Mike's right though, where it's like, you know, I've seen it as well, where it's like at a certain point in some people's lives, you start losing core strength, and that's kind of more important to have something with
I guess.
help with.
I guess.
I mean, there was other things, but yeah, those are the big ones.
Okay.
Okay. Another question, Willis.
Yes. Let's see. Friend of the show, Not Samar, asks, any updates on Tough Book? Tough Book. Did you guys see the
Panasonic
Tough
From
Book?
Asus? Yeah, we saw those.
Something now?
They actually had a Strix Halo one as well, which I thought was interesting. Did you see that, Mike?
Didn't they have one that was just integrated graphics, or was that something that they?
That was the Strix Halo one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think the biggest thing that I would want is somebody to position something as a gaming laptop that does rely only on integrated graphics. Is like, hey, this is just for what you often get seen referred to as like the student market. Like you take it to college and it just does a little extra and can handle games. That'd be great. But I think Strix Halo is probably too expensive of a part for that to make profitable or to make or practical.
I mean,
isn't that
we haven't seen
that be just about the same as like a 4050 level part?
Except for I don't think we've seen the pricing for the gaming Strix Halo. So the 8 CPU core with the full fat 40 CU GPU. So like I don't know if that math changes. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll say, I mean, for major products like laptop and even motherboards and stuff like that. I mean, we did see a lot of motherboards. Most of them were just refreshes. So it was like, okay, not much to talk about there. A lot of laptop stuff, it was either, oh, we've got Panther Lake now, but did you change anything? Nope. We're just upgraded to Panther Lake. So I would say,
So
when you think of it,
faster and the battery life's better. Good news.
yeah. So like the tough book stuff, I mean, we didn't get specifically briefed on it because for the most part it was, oh yeah, we upgraded the internals. It's something different. So.
Right. There's actually one for Brad, but I'll save that for next week when he's back. There is a friend of the show, Star Screamus, asked, what was it finally like to meet Mike in person? Was it everything you dreamed of? I'll go first and say yes, absolutely yes. It was, Mike, it was a pleasure working with you at CES. We hung out a bit, we walked the trade show, the show floors and all that stuff, and yeah, you're everything I thought of and dreamed of.
Wow, love it. I will say we're not going to rub it in too much to Elena and Will because they have yet to meet him, and I got the leg up. I was actually the very first one to meet you because we went to those meetings in New York in the beginning of December. That's why I was out in New York. Spoilers, CS pre-briefings. And yeah, really good chat. Really good to meet Mike in person. He is way funnier than he leads on here. He's a little bit serious mode, but he actually has a wicked sense of humor.
Thank you.
I had a great time meeting him.
Very good.
I'm only disappointed that I didn't get to meet Elena and Will.
I'm sorry I didn't come to Vegas.
No, you're not. You're really not.
Yeah, that was a lie. A bald-faced lie.
Understandable that you didn't want to come to CES.
You should come to San Francisco sometime, Mike. That's the answer.
I would be thrilled to come to San Francisco. Yes.
Mike and I actually did a quick video at CES show floor. It's going to be for the Full Nerd Network channel, so TBD on that later. But yeah, it was really nice to get to know Mike.
We get a quick question from PS1 Freak, friend of the show, in the chat to ask, do we know the starting price for Panther Lake laptops? Some of them actually did come out last minute. And prices are elevated. Unfortunately, I was trying to break down, is that Panther Lake? Is that the RAM stuff? I think mostly from what I've heard, it's the RAM stuff. So I wasn't able to get a read on, is Panther Lake driving up the prices? The indication I did get was that it's actually pretty similar to Lunar Lake already, but for the end user, it doesn't matter because it's probably going to be higher because of the whole RAM stuff. So
well, the other difference is that Lunar Lake should, unless they bypass Lunar Lake tariffs coming from TSMC for the chiplets, because it's assembled in Arizona or whatever, theoretically they're getting cheaper, like they're not having to pay import tariffs on the CPU, so it may even be, but I think any savings are going to be eaten by RAM increases.
Yep.
So so we do have some prices, but it's mostly inflated. Spoilers.
And most of the prices that I saw were actually from Lenovo, and Lenovo's kind of infamous about being terrible in terms of pricing communication. They'll tell you, oh, this ThinkPad is $2,800, and you never see it for more than $2,000 at the actual store. So
I think Dell had XPS numbers right at the last minute too. So anyway,
we and the home team didn't see a lot of numbers just from our vantage point, but it probably is because they were probably trying to wait to get a sense of the current market conditions. And it could be they're not announcing it anyway because some of these laptops aren't coming out immediately. So then even between now and when that launches, it could already change, unfortunately, what the pricing would be.
Okay. Any other questions that you have, Willis?
Yes. Let's see. Our dear friend of the show, Dimmer, a.k.a. Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey, what's
hey,
up?
Mikey.
And Lindsay's here. Hi, Lindsay. My two favorite
Lindsay.
people.
Yes.
Wow, we're right
Sorry.
here, man.
So
Mikey,
Mikey, Mikey asked, what was the one wearable / portable object that was so disturbing that you would never wear or carry?
Wow, it started sounding so positive, and then it went like really like, whoop.
Mikey, you're gonna have to talk to me on the back end of that. That's can't talk about this publicly. No, well, I mean, the thing is, like, once again, my schedule was literally just PC vendor to PC vendor, meeting room to meeting room. So I only got one day to kind of go around the show floor, but even then I was going to specific zones that I wanted to, like either mini PCs or gaming or something like that. So you wanted
the trackball palace.
Yeah. No, they found me. So you got a little bit more chance just wandering around. Did you see any wearables that you were scared of?
One of the weirdest trends that I saw, I must have been at least 4 different vendors had, most of them called it some kind of AI ring. And it was just a little button that connects to either your phone or your watch and you start recording stuff. It's like, that's kind of dumb. And like, there's nothing there that you can't do with a phone or a watch, and it's barely changing the interaction anyway. But multiple different things that I did see were just AI recordings of everything in your life, either audio or camera, and just meant to be on every single second that you were out. This is beyond like the activation phrase. I don't want to say it now because it will actually activate my smart stuff. But for your smart home things, that has a phrase that turns it on. And there's plenty of things like for your glasses, there's a Meta thing that's like, okay, Meta, do this. No, these were always on, record everything, everyone around you. I'm like, no. 1, I don't want to use that for myself. 2, I don't want other people to have that because I'm already being recorded everywhere. So yes, that was functionally very creepy.
I actually have been wondering about that. And I actually wondered about this like way back in the days when we started having cell phones. And then moved into smartphones, which is I can take a lot of steps to preserve my privacy, but I have no control over what other people are saving, storing, whatever related to me. And then like hearing Mike talk about this right now, where it's like, yeah, maybe you'll turn all that stuff off, but will your friends, will your family, will a stranger that you happen to be next to on a bus or a plane do that, you know? So that's very disconcerting.
There was one thing I saw on that front. Like I did see a couple of things that previously have come out and been terrible. Like the first wave of smart locks that all had Alexa tie-ins that didn't think about the ability to stand at somebody's front door and yell, "Hey, so-and-so, unlock the front door," and then it just unlocked the front door whether you're inside or outside. Stupid products, just to be clear. Like I saw a handful of locks that have licensed or gained access to the ultra wideband stuff in new iPhones and new smartphones, so that it will prox it, like it ultra widebands the position of your phone in relation to the door and just unlocks the door when you walk up, rather than relying on some sort of key phrase or having to tap an app or something goofy. Which, like, smart locks are like, all locks are deterrents, not actual security.
Sure.
So, but that seems like maybe the first smart lock I would actually think about using, rather than and Mikey's screaming in the chat right now.
Don't get smart locks. I know we're kind of going down a rabbit hole here, but I'm still a little bit like about smart locks, because a lot of them are app based, or like they'll use Bluetooth, and there are like so many vulnerabilities around that. Like for something like what you said, like position is one thing, but also the other thing I would love to see is like being able to actually lock it to devices, right? Where it's like,
that's what this does, is it tracks your UWB signature on your phone and hooks into the wallet and all that stuff.
Like it actually is like checking to see like it's actually this specific device that it was signed up on. Because I know that can be spoofed as well, but it's
that
still,
I don't know.
But still like but then that's like, but to me it's like, again, it's a deterrent. But again, like that's starting to get more into the realm of like someone really has to want what you have or to enter, if they're like now like figuring out what your device ID is and then spoofing that and all that kind of stuff, right?
If you have a wooden front door and a pair of boots, it's really easy to break through the door. It's the XKCD
like wrench problem. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions you got, Will?
Yes, I got one last
one.
And this is a this is a question from 3 people, including me, from Starscreamus, Not Samar, and me. Basically asking, 1, how many floor USBs did Adam pick up, and how many or did Adam get his floor candy rations at CES or not?
Great questions.
Only because, like, I wasn't there with you at the show floor, and mostly it was with Dan.
I mean, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to answer the question seriously. I will say the CES more than ever felt like there was less swag in general anyway. Not that it matters. I'm not there for the swag, but
pay tariffs on swag.
You're right. Yeah. So actually, it's a good thing. I mean, I think Gordon would have been upset. Usually brings it home to his kids.
Suitcase full.
But yeah, I got a couple USB devices. Companies will give you a media kit. Essentially, just be like, oh, hey, here's a media kit with USB. So I did get a couple of those.
Oh, they're still doing that. Like for a while,
I got a couple.
They started doing
There's a QR code.
Actually, and you know what? We did get one vendor. I don't know. Were you with me? One of them was an NFC tag. So essentially, you NFC to the back of your phone, and it brings up. I think it was MSI, maybe.
It was MSI. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't help me at all because I can't reprogram it. So I like the USB specifically, and I think the USBs that I got were pretty tiny, unfortunately. So
Well, then follow-up question: have you plugged those in yet?
No, they were I could already tell that they were too small just by the sizing on it, and I was like, it's not even worth my time.
16 gigs, you just throw it in the trash.
No, at this point, I'm like 64 gig.
Wow.
It's got to be 64 gig or up.
Cinderella.
Yeah. And then floor candy. I did not see any candy on the floor, but I definitely ate.
Did you get any of those mini corn dogs from Nathan's up in North Hall?
No, I didn't go to North Hall.
Wow.
How about Eureka Park, which is basically all the international park?
Yeah, I didn't really get a chance to mess around over there. I will say the one piece of candy that was really actually it would have been on my list. It's also on iFixit's worst of CES list. Was this sucker that has an integrated battery and motor in it. And the idea is that it's bone conduction.
Vibrates.
So you pull the tab and then you hit a button and then you put it in your mouth and it's supposed to vibrate the song. And it only had 3 songs and they were all bad. One of them was like Akon. One of them was something else.
Harsh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm throwing Akon under the bus here. Sorry, not great music. And it's just it was a waste in a lot of ways, but it didn't even work that well. Like I love bone conduction. I mean, he has bone conduction headphones on right now, pointing to Mike. I love the technology, but this was not it, bro. And also the taste was bad, and yeah. So that candy, I was not.
Oh, you talking about the lollipops?
Yeah, lollipops.
It was the one that John wrote about in the blog.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
I think so.
Because it was at PepCom. Okay. I didn't get to try it.
So my daughter got one of those for Christmas, or a couple of those for Christmas last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it Akon?
So they weren't licensed songs. It's just like dance songs. It's like it was such a weird thing, and they suck.
Oh, listen, Mikey, if the AI lollipop played Darude Sandstorm, I would be in. Are you kidding me? That 90s classic. Get up in the club.
I don't.
You would know the song if you heard it.
I'm familiar with Sandstorm, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you?
Yeah. Look, I own Sandstorm in Fortnite, so I can play the bass track exclusively when somebody else plays something.
There you go.
Because it's universal music.
Drop the bass. Yeah. Anyway, so that candy I was actually not against, or I was against. I'm trying to think. Is there any other floor candy? No. I don't think so.
Oh, no. Starscream.
Oh, you know what? Do you have any 3D printed candy?
No. Razer still has the gum, the Respawn gum.
No.
And I told them I was like, I still have an original launch pack over there, and the last time I opened one, it just disintegrated into my hand.
Oh my!
But now they have mints too.
Oh,
they're pretty good mints. I picked one up on the way out. Yeah.
I don't think I brought them.
Adam's digging through his bag right now.
I did hear though that there was a lot of pulling back on food and other things at the shows. So,
I don't think I got a single USB drive, not even offered to me. So it was all just here's the link.
Yeah, I feel like it was the same amount of food.
Oh no, Mark mentioned to us that I think one of the smaller gatherings, they were limiting people to one pot sticker at a time.
What?
Yeah,
yes.
that was
heresy.
That was unveiled, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
I will tell you, when we were
wasn't unveiled.
No,
it wasn't unveiled. Oh, okay.
Was it what's the other one?
Showstoppers.
Showstoppers.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, that's disappointing. Showstoppers. Well,
I mean, I don't go to that one anyway.
I saw Gordon one time load up on shrimp at Showstoppers in a way that I was super impressed. It was like one of those Japanese Pizza Hut buffet towers.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Yeah,
he stacked.
I was like, you're not gonna. There's no way you're gonna eat all these shrimp. He's like, watch me.
He definitely employed his buffet. Strategies.
Yeah.
I want to say that's more on the health of whatever organization putting on, because PepCom fully stocked.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't seem that to be a trend just across CES, but
One pot sticker per person.
Yeah.
Wow, that's brutal.
Yeah.
That was because they were running out, or who knows, maybe the vendor.
That's how journalists eat. Working journalists don't just get food budgets.
Yeah, you got
a $30 per day in
mouth.
Vegas. That's you can't get a McDonald's cheeseburger for $30 a day.
You barely get a croissant sandwich for breakfast.
Let's hurry and burn through super chats and get out of here. Friend of the show, JW Dickinson. I'm sorry, I know, gave us $5. Thank you so much. A long time ago, said, Attention all banana. You may now continue with the regularly scheduled programming. I should have brought that up while we were in the middle of talking. Friend of the show, Skeet Sayer, gave us 3 super chats in a row. One of them for $5 Canadian, 2 of them for $2 Canadian. First one is, thank you. So total, that's, I'm not good at math, maybe $9 Canadian, which equates to like 20 American cents. I don't know.
Wow.
Just kidding. I don't know. I don't know what Canadian dollars are.
In our treasury bills.
We love our friends in the north.
Import those Canadian dollars. Anyway, Wendy's spicy chicken club sandwiches also make you sweat. I don't
think that's true. But
remember what that was. Well, no, man, spicy. I'm not good with spicy stuff.
Baby,
yeah. Also, Brad continued to talk about how his Da Bomb thing was not a good choice. Yeah, it was a bad idea.
Yeah, there was a little extra Easter egg, not Easter egg, but a little additional information I put into the newsletter that week that was both hilarious and sad.
Poor Brad.
Poor Brad.
The 2 other messages, AI was the focus of all the keynotes, of course, and then also can't stand AI. It has cost my company 12,000 plus jobs. Wow. Okay.
That's harsh.
Sorry. That's
he
a
talked
bummer.
about that during one of the keynotes as well.
JW Dixon gave us $2 more, said, "Oh Lord, the bananas. Where are all these bananas coming from?
Bananas.
Now I'm just hungry." Skeet Sayer gave us, wow, what is this? 6 more Canadian dollars. That's 2, 5, 5, 2, 5, and 2 more. That is, I definitely can't do that math. Skynet is already in the Ukraine. They are making AI videos of famous people to give money. Too much evil in the PC today. Palantir and others make the PC experience a weapon for the right. It is obvious Iron Man inspired the right. As long as the current consoles are all AMD, I will support Team Red. This is wrong on so many levels. Wow, when you read those back to back, yeah. That's hilarious. So,
I mean, let's put it this way. I do want to say that as they were coming in, they were actually very topically relevant.
Yes.
The way you're reading it makes it sound like somebody is having some stream of consciousness issues.
Skeet Sayer's having a psychotic break on the other end.
I need to be better at bringing them up as they come in. So I'm sorry. Yeah, that's my 2026 goal, is to be more on top of Super Chats. Anyway, check back next week for your fix of PC talk, most likely a Q&A episode, because we've got a lot of the other questions that are not CS related. What?
We do have a lot of
Q&As. We do. Yeah, we do. And then Brad will be back. We can mop up some of the Brad related questions. Hopefully he's going to be feeling better. And then, yeah. If you want to listen to us on the go, subscribe to us, the Full Nerd Podcast, anywhere you can find podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, Pocket Casts, anywhere is awesome. And if you can leave us a thumbs up, a heart, a star, a review, please do that. It always warms the cockles of my heart, and I appreciate it. If you want to catch us live, tune in on the Full Nerd Network YouTube channel. We go live theoretically every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific. You can come hang out with us. We got cool people in the chat, but that's okay. If you have a question, you want to get those in, there's a link to the Discord, Full Nerd Discord. Awesome people over there. You put your questions. You can chat all day long. I feel like the community's definitely been growing more than usual, mostly because of the Linux love is pouring in as well. So we got lots of good people over there. If you want to get the newsletter of the podcast, then subscribe or go over to PCWorld.com/newsletters with an S /sign up. We got the Full Nerd newsletter and other PC related newsletters that you can get fresh into your inbox every Friday, even over the break. Elena did have fresh newsletters.
It did.
My question, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Is there a way for people who might have missed the other newsletters to go back and read them? Are they on the site somewhere?
They are. They should be filed under the and it's not the Full Nerd, it's just Full Nerd. Tag, but it wasn't working the last time I checked. So if you really have to, you can actually just go to my author bio. So you can just
they'll show up there.
It should show up under all the stories that I've written. And I guess that would be PCWorld.com/author/AYEE, which is my first initial and my last name.
Yeah.
And it's all listed there. If it doesn't work, to actually just click on the full Full Nerd as a
Yeah, I was just wondering, if
tag.
there's a way you can get the backlog of awesome newsletters. Also, I will say over the break, I came up with an idea. I know we've been joking about the podcast.
Oh, no.
I came up with another idea for you to
no.
create more full nerdness to. So we'll talk about it off air. Anyway, I'm missing something. Is there something else I'm missing for the end? Probably not, but I want to thank all you fine folks. But I definitely want to thank the people who joined me here. We got one, Mike Kreider. Thanks for coming in.
I had a blast, just like I always do.
It was a good time. Had by all. Thank you, Elena Yee. Good, Happy New Year. It's the first time I'm seeing you in person, so Happy New Year.
Speaking of, I want one of those red envelopes, by the way.
We got him.
Oh, we got him. We got him. Yeah, that was very special. Will Smith, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be recording the next episode of Dual Boot Diaries where you talk about the audio issues on your laptop that happened today.
Fixed it.
Well, we'll talk about why.
It's fixed.
On Dual Boot Diaries, subscribe
Already
over there.
fixed.
Yeah, already fixed.
No problem.
We should talk about it.
Everything's fine.
And then we'll like to thank one Willison Live for controlling verticals, horizontals. Get us out of here.
Alrighty. Thank you, Adam. It is lunchtime. So thank you, everyone. It's good to be back. We'll see you next time. Bye.